The boxing voice for the voice of the people.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice. Really quick, we're going to run through these sponsors and get to the nitty gritty because there's so much to talk about. Um, of course, I want to give a quick shout out to Garth Wiggum, all the way from the United Kingdom. We received your donation, excuse me, and we really appreciate it. You know, we mean that over here from the bottom of our heart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna divide that donation and make sure that you get a certain amount of nominations into this glove giveaway because we got to give this Ruslan glove away after his fight. So big shout out to Garth, man. Thank you for support and supporting us and believing in our vision, man. Because once again, you know, without you guys, there is no us. We're definitely going to have a little chat with Austin Trout today. You know, a lot of things are taking place in his division. We just seen Julian Williams last night, Jermell Charlo last night. Everybody at the 154, things are heating up, and he's still a name out there. I want to thank everybody that continues to go to theboxingvoice.com/store and supporting us by buying, you know, one of our many merchandise that we may have there. We definitely have shirts and hats and hoodies, sweatpants. And we can all live and die by these things because guess what? We've all used it. I bought like 3 hoodies myself. You know, as you can see, I got about 30 shirts. But we got to keep moving here. And oh man, I did get the first couple of number of people that signed up for Audible. As a total, it was pretty good. But this last month, come on, you guys let me down. Totally. Head on over to our affiliate banner over there on our website on affiliate sponsors and click on the Audible banner, man. Sign up, get your free book. Remember, check out one of the many titles that they have, and you just got to remember, man, even if you don't want to do it, sign up. Do it on your mobile phone. You can sign up on your mobile phone just by going to the app that B put away. And speaking of the app, don't forget to download it. For those of you on Android, absolutely free. For those of you on Apple, 99 cents, but that's because Apple charges us year round to have a developer's account. So it is what it is, people. We're sorry. Uh, Speaking of being sorry, B, I'm glad that you're back, man, because you know, from my understanding, you've already ordered some of these on it products, so it'll be better for you to probably give firsthand experience of what you've used.
I tried some of the food products and I like the ingredients in them. And the thing is I'm pretty big on clean food. I don't like artificial sweeteners and fillers and stuff like that. So I looked at the nutritional breakdown on a lot of these products and the ingredients, and they're pretty wholesome. I'm not too big on a lot of those tea supplements and stuff because I don't want to feel any post-fight drug tests. So I don't really take that stuff. But I like the food stuff. You know what I mean? And even those products, they have natural ingredients in them. The T Plus has the tribulus in it, has a lot of the the herbs that help with natural testosterone production. So all that stuff is natural. It's not synthetic. So I don't think it would really hurt anybody. But all in all, I like a supplement company that has integrity and they just have high quality ingredients in their products. And a lot of supplement companies don't do that. They have a lot of artificial fillers and stuff like that. And Onnit doesn't do that. So I think I'm pretty confident in recommending their products to people because I think, as I said, the stuff is high quality.
And last but not least, of course, Fast Break Bell Bonds. They're last today, but they've always been first. This is the first sponsor to believe in our vision, and I definitely want to shout Fast Break Bell Bonds out. If you ever need a Bell Bondsman, these guys are doing payment plans as little as 1% down. That number is 973-497-7000. Chat room roll call. We're going to get it done tonight. We got a full house of hosts here. Everybody's here. A lot of stuff to talk about. And kind of a guy that may or may not need fast break bail bonds actually is Floyd Mayweather Jr. It seems like Mayweather and T.I. had a bit of a brawl, but T.I. took a swing at Floyd Mayweather Jr. and caused a chair tossing brawl at a Fat Burger on Las Vegas Strip early Sunday morning. According to several witnesses, Floyd was eating inside the restaurant when T.I. walked up and just started jawing at Floyd. It's unclear what caused the beef, but we're told T.I. swung at Floyd. There was a giant bodyguard jumped in to separate them, and then all hell broke loose. That's when melee began, and you know, at one point you could hear Floyd telling T.I., "Control your bitch," and that woman being Tamika Tiny Collette. So basically, what happened here, guys, I'm going to tell you. Floyd was kicking it to Tiny, whether he was kicking it or not, or just simply talking to her. Thing is, T.I. didn't like it. He went up there. You know, there's some. I believe there was a quote, something like, "Where's that? Oh." No, wait, damn, let me go here. So Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people come to Las Vegas, and Tiny and Shanika was out there. They came to some party last night. They cool, everything is cool. We was at the strip. Everything was cordial. We were having fun. I throw my daughter, Liana, a big 14th birthday bash. This is Floyd talking. To a big birthday bash. I'm eating at Fat Burger. Next thing you know, he walk in, talking about we need to talk again, and then I told him, you need to get the fuck out my face. And he was like, that's what you better do. And then he said, I ain't talking to all these people, so you ain't gotta talk loud. I said, listen, don't come to my face with no disrespectful shit. Like I told you before, you must have forgot what I do for a living. He said, you do that in the ring, I do it in the streets. I said, man, I do it everywhere. You can find that out if you want. Just like that. Then a couple of words exchanged, and shit got to popping. But you know, we got that exclusive footage. You know, Floyd allegedly called 50 Cent. Conversation went a little bit something like this.
Chat, what the fuck is going on, man? Niggas tell me you down there at the Fat Burger fighting over time. Now that's T.I. bitch, man. You gonna cause these niggas to buy more guns in Atlanta. No, I'm your brother. I'm gonna tell you like it is, Chat. Your uppercut ain't gonna mean shit when niggas start shooting. What? Man, why you keep going back to what she looked like? I wouldn't care if the motherfucker fell out of beauty pageant. It's his bitch, man. No, you listen to me. You ain't never shot a motherfucker a day in your life. You 150 pounds. You ain't no gangster. You's a boxer, nigga.
Yo, now that's allegedly 50 Cent talking to Floyd Mayweather. We all know that he's not fucking talking to Floyd, but he's definitely poking shots and making fun of Floyd. So let's toss it to one of the great hosts here. I mean, everybody's been waiting for this guy, so why not just get him on first?
You want the title shot at the beat. He's not even ready. You want the title shot at the beat.
Where do we begin, brother? ESPN, Stevenson. I mean, there's just so much to talk about, but all in all, both cards were excellent. I know we're going to get into it later, and next week's going to be even bigger. Froch Groves. Let's talk about that too. That's going to be awesome. I'm so excited about that. That's going to be fight of the year. Shout out to all my UK brothers. God save the Queen, baby.
Well, Beeb, I actually wanted to get your thoughts on Mayweather. I mean,
oh really?
This altercation.
I'm sorry, because
again, he's gonna.
I just have a hard time really getting into these TMZ type things. It's really not my thing. I don't know. It just Floyd Mayweather. It's just the way he lives. He's got a flashy lifestyle. We all know that, and he likes to put himself out there and kind of talk to a lot of different people. So, one thing that always struck me as funny in these types of situations is why does the guy always get mad at the other guy? Like, what about the girl involved? She was the one that made the decision to hang out with another dude. So you work that out with her. You don't go to the guy. I mean, a guy's a guy. He's gonna do what a guy does 9 times out of 10. What's a guy do when you have a girl in front of you or a girl that approaches you? You kind of kick it to her and you kind of soak all up that attention. So I don't understand why T.I. would get so mad at Floyd about it. I think he should have addressed the young female, or I don't know who the female really is, but he should have addressed the female first before he went to Floyd. So that's just my take on it. That's why I never really get involved in this TMZ stuff, because I think it's kind of silly and foolish.
Yo, for real though, no, I can't disagree more, man.
I should have went to Mario, because Mario, boxing and rap, those are like your two most favorite things. So you gotta find T.I. getting into actually throwing he tried to hit Floyd, for God's sakes. Like, this is a dude off the street. He didn't give a fuck about the many years of experience that Floyd Mayweather brings to the ring. let alone a street fight.
What are the odds in a street fight? Is it
I'll give you 10-1. I'll give you 10-1 on Mayweather.
street fight, picking up chairs?
20-1 Floyd still don't show up.
Yeah, he ducks him. He ducks him. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna duck him because he's got fast hands.
Nobody separating the clinches?
No.
With the knees? With the low blows?
He's gonna draw blood, and it's gonna be the third best we've ever seen anyone face against Floyd Mayweather. But for the record, let's be real. T.I. did the old "I'm gonna punch you in the face," knowing that everyone's gonna break it up. The old high school move, bro. It's exactly what it was.
I don't know. I think he went for his shot. I think he seen an opportunity and he tried to seize it because guess what? Floyd Mayweather shows us that he's always around thousands of fucking bodyguards. Like they there forever. They bigger than me, for God's sakes.
That's what I'm saying though. He saw the teachers come and he swung on them. That's exactly what fucking happened. And for the record, I disagree with Beeb. If you have a problem and your woman's cheating on you, you go fuck up the guy and then you dump the girl out of principle. No, it's not a black and white. It's gray area, bro. Everyone involved must go. It's just like the fucking clearance shelf at Walmart. Everybody must go.
No. Well, James, how old are you?
I'll fuck up his friend. I'll fuck up his friend just for fucking principle if he starts jawing like they all do.
He's a veteran, so he realizes that you know what? Girls like to play guys against each other. So why take the bait, man? Why be the puppet on the string? Don't let a girl
I'm a big fish, bro, because I'm a big fish in a small pond. I take all the bait. It's all mine.
I hear you.
All right, James.
I hear you. I definitely fucking nigga up. Catch you cheat.
I'm just being real because I know my temper, bro. I know my temper. I'm not gonna just sit there and fucking just let it go. It'd be stewing in me like a fire burning in my stomach.
But then you see the girl sitting over in the corner laughing at the whole thing. Ooh, these two guys are fighting for me. Ooh. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Been there, done that. Would never do it again. Actually, I've been the one that was attacked, and I'm like, damn, you can have her back. I was just using her for a night. You know what I'm saying? That's the way
you got the side piece. You got that Adrian Broner side piece.
Exactly. You know, like I'm not gonna fight for a girl who don't want me. Why am I gonna fight with someone who doesn't want to be with me? That's like ridiculous.
Yo, actually, the one that is laughing is Mayweather because who's got the feedback there?
I don't know. Someone did you unmute someone?
Yeah, that's Matt. Matt, you're live. What's up, brother?
He's on his way to go fuck some dude up. he got inspired.
Like I said, Mayweather's the one that's laughing because he was quoted saying, as far as him swinging on me, I ain't having that. You see me, I'm out here all night. He didn't make an appearance, so let's see how his face looked. Because the rumor is, after T.I. swung on him, you know, he got fucked up.
Let's be real, though. A punch from someone that's at the level of Mayweather is 10 times harder than a punch that you've ever taken in the street. So, Floyd Mayweather hits you. That's why I said it's the fucking principle rule. There's no way T.I. actually thinks he's going to be able to take Floyd Mayweather. He clocked him when he got his opportunity, knowing that people were going to fucking jump in and he wouldn't get his ass beat.
But see, I think there's a bigger issue here, and you know, any chance that I get to promote one of my articles on the boxingvoice.com. You know, I wrote this story after Lil Wayne. You know, the video footage came out with Lil Wayne and Maidana and all that stuff happened with Robert Garcia. You know, you saw this atmosphere at the Mayweather-Maidana fight. You're used to seeing George Clooney and George Lopez and these movie stars, but instead they were replaced by the likes of 2 Chainz and Rick Ross and Future and you know, Kim Kardashian, or Khloe's new boo. I forgot the guy who she's dating, French Montana. You know, this is the transformation that Floyd has made on the sport. As Floyd continues to take over in his reigns, it is going to be a black promoted fighter, a black champion promoting that culture. I think it's a great thing. I like Ness said, I love hip hop, I love boxing. They're two of my most I'm passionate about both of those things, you know, beyond spectrums, but at the same time, these dudes got to check themselves. T.I. would get his ass beat. T.I. would get his ass beat, in my opinion, with most people. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is ridiculous. Like, these dudes spend too much time around these guys, and then they think they can fight. I'm still waiting for Danny Garcia to open up his own promotional company and get homeboy from the Latin Goonies to start boxing instead of rapping, because that seems like where these dudes think they can go, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that's why I figured that you'd have a good take on this, man. But let's get into some of this boxing. So much fucking boxing took place, man. I mean, ESPN. Let me not even say another word. Let me look for the soundbite. You know, I gotta eat crow. I don't even know. This weekend was a horrible weekend for me.
I wish I was on, because I was 100%.
Man, I mean, what the fuck happened with Carcamos? I mean, what the fuck happened? I didn't expect him to do that bad. Like, even though I picked him to win, like, of course, it's 50-50. They showed that. Petrov showed that he's a good fighter. But damn, I didn't think it would look like that. I mean, was anybody else shocked?
Well, I couldn't really remember who B picked, but even whoever he picked, he called this fight extremely to the T. If y'all go back and listen to the last show, he talked about the aggression and the power of Petrov, and he talked about the inability of Carcamo to find holes when they're there. Petrov isn't this flawless fighter, guys. He's a guy who can be beat, and I think he can be beat by most guys in that division, to be honest with you. The problem wasn't him, it was Carcamo. Carcamo did not try to capitalize on opportunities. He spent too much time in bad situation. No ring generalship he showed Friday night at all. I don't remember who B picked, but man, I give you credit, B.
I picked
I was gonna say, I remember. I wasn't on the show. I listened to it. So
but he called it. But he called it.
Carcamo. And the thing that surprised me the most was Carcamo basically was just looking to land body shots. He really didn't throw much upstairs. And I think he was surprised with Petrov's speed and movement. I think it caught him off guard. I felt as though he thought that Petrov was going to meet him in the center of the ring, and they were just going to engage in a phone booth war. But Petrov didn't do that. Another thing too, Petrov opened up the fight, landing lead left hooks. And when a southpaw is fighting orthodox guys, he's used to seeing lead right hands. He's not used to seeing that type of offense coming at him where the left hook is the primary choice there for weaponry. So I think that caught him off guard a little bit. But we can't take anything away from what Petrov did. I mean, it seemed as though he scouted Carcamo down to a T, and obviously Teddy Atlas made some good points about squaring up, the lack of a jab. But also when you square up, you don't give yourself the proper punching angles. It's not so much that you're off balance, not so much that you can't generate power, but you also can't line up your punches properly. Because if your shoulders are squared and your opponent is at an angle, you're basically going to shoot over to the side of his head. You're not going to be lining up your punch to go down the center and hit his head. You're going to be sailing over to the side of his shoulders. So just a lot of things that were done wrong. But again, part of that was just strategy, poor strategy possibly, but also, Petrov seized the moment. He utilized the game plan, and he focused on the weaknesses. And Carcamo just made no adjustments throughout the course of the fight, and that basically told the story right there. And one final note is, I give Carcamo a lot of credit. He showed a lot of heart. I mean, in between rounds, he was asked, "Do you want to continue?" That was the perfect opportunity to not want to continue. And as much as I respect Joel Diaz should have pulled the plug. I don't think he should have sent them out there to that final round. But it is what it is. But
good point,
Petrov, man, great job, excellent job.
James.
No, because Cox Communication sucks. They recorded 2.5 hours of black.
Oh man,
I'm telling you, I was fucking pissed. I kept rewinding it, fast forwarded, rewinding. I turned it off, restarted that shit. Yeah. Fuck you, Cox Communications. If anyone's listening from Cox Communications, fuck you.
What? That's why I got rid of DirecTV, baby. That's why I love
it pisses me. That's all I got.
Whatever you want about Comcast. Comcast got some good equipment and good apps on your phone that you can record from your phone. I mean,
yes.
Shouts out to Comcast.
Dude, see Comcast is the champion. Cox Communications is like the journeyman. It's 50-50 on every fight. He might win, he'll probably lose.
So Comcast, if you're out there, why don't you sponsor the Boxing Voice, baby? ENS got your internet and your cable.
Yeah, no, they got some fucking awesome apps. They got this app that you can fucking speak to, and it changes the.
That's sick, man.
That's dope.
What?
Yeah.
You know what I get? I get fucking shitty tape delay, so I can't go on Twitter and fucking Facebook for 3.5 hours every time there's a fucking fight.
And let me
Fucking
say
Fox
that,
Communications.
not to get off track. Who can beat friggin' On Demand? On Demand is the best. I love On Demand.
I like On Demand. That's what I like about Cox. Cox has like a whole like Cotto Martinez section right now, and I love the shit out of that.
Yo, so I gotta eat some more crow. I'm gonna just come right out, eat it again.
You didn't pick Willie Monroe?
Listen,
I picked Adams too.
No. Listen to me. Hear me out. I officially never made the pick because when we were talking about it, remember, I said to you guys, hey, why are you so convinced that Monroe would win? And I never got to make a pick, but I know that my heart was with Adams, so I'm gonna take the loss with Adams, and I'm gonna tell you guys that I still wasn't impressed with Monroe, even though, hear me out, even though I know that he fought a great fight, but that's what I feel. I feel that last night was just one man having his best night, but nothing he was doing was hindering Adams from trying to do what he was doing. He was just less skilled. He only had 6 amateur fights. He was a young kid with a bad trainer because the he was not cutting the ring off. That's why he was getting beat all day because he wasn't cutting the ring off. He wasn't worried about his lead foot being outside of the southpaw's foot. He didn't care about that. He wasn't leading with right hands. He was throwing roundhouse rights instead of straight rights. He wasn't coming in with the jab. So it was that he was less skilled. Monroe, to me, 160. That's that division that they fought at.
Yeah, but he said he's going back down to 154.
He needs to.
And
okay, well, I'm going to hold my judgment on him until I see him at 154 because at 160,
not a power puncher.
At 160, I think that Daniel Jacobs beats him, and I use Daniel Jacobs as the barometer because I don't think highly of Jacobs. Jacobs lost to Prague. Before Prague, he was fighting nobodies. After Prague, he's been fighting nobodies. So all he is a dude that I seen fight a bunch of nobodies. So, and I still don't think.
Good arguments. Yeah. Good arguments. But, you know, I think sometimes when we watch a guy dominate so well as Monroe Jr. did, we sit there and we say to ourselves, why is the other guy still coming? And we got to give Adams credit. I mean, he's a tough cookie, and he's in phenomenal shape. And obviously, you know, if you're hitting a guy that regularly in that flush, you're expecting a reaction. And obviously, you know, that reaction didn't happen because he wasn't able to really stop Adams in his tracks. He wasn't able to fend him off completely. And if you look at that, you're going to see other guys.
What's that, brother? Keep
going. I thought you froze there. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought I dropped or something. Everyone just froze. I'm so sorry. I just thought something happened to the internet.
Did someone hurt you when you were off the show? Did someone hurt you? I feel
I'm good. I'm looking over my shoulder. No, I'm good. I'm just playing. But no, but again, you know, to piggyback off of what Ness said, he's looking at Monroe. He's looking at Monroe Jr. and he's saying to himself, if he's hitting Adams like that and nothing's happening, what's going to happen if he's in there with another guy that's going to have better pressure, guys that can cut the ring off him? How is he going to deal with that against a guy that's more dangerous? And that's a fair point, and I see where he's coming from, but we'll see what happens when he goes down to 154.
You know what's funny? I kind of want to segue off of that. Did you guys watch J-Rock's Julian Williams performance this week? Saturday?
No, actually, I forgot that was on Show Extreme, and I missed that. But I heard it was explosive. I kind of saw clips of it.
I watched.
And I like this dude.
And I love J-Rock, man.
I've been high on him for some time now, man. And that dude is, I don't know, man. I guess what's his name? Steve Farho was kind of alluding to it, where he doesn't think he has the power, but I think he has power, man. I'm really excited about the 154 division, especially on the Showtime side, man. They showed the fucking list of all the American contenders, and I just was sitting there like, God, all those fights are so legit. And then you add Canelo and you add Lara into this, and then you add Trout that we're about to have on, and you add maybe Cotto back on if he loses to Sergio Martinez, which I think he will. God, that's got to be the top heaviest fucking division in boxing right now, and I can't wait for that division. I think J-Rock is going to fit right in with the Charlos.
I think so too.
Yeah, man. I watched that J-Rock fight, and I could not believe what I was seeing. I mean, I can definitely see how one would believe that Williams has no power because he was landing like
Flush.
4 and 5 punch combinations, like consecutive. Pop, 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 pop. It was crazy. But so I didn't understand. Like either Medina's really tough, but he got knocked stone cold out by Willie Nelson. So I don't know, but I'll tell you this: he probably doesn't have knock you out power, but he's gonna beat you up power. That's the
He's a sharp puncher. Regardless, he's still a sharp puncher.
very sharp.
He's gonna get your attention.
With high stamina. So like James was saying, I'm super excited. This division is getting better and better and better. Of course, politics aside, hoping that none of those nasty rumors of Golden Boy breaking up take place. We've chewed it up for a couple of minutes here. I don't know where Mario dropped off to, but let's take it out to the streets, man.
Yo, real quick, I want to do something real quick because Austin Trout's announcing is the next opponent on the show. Let's do a little fun bet, man. Who do you guys think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be J-Rock. I think it's gonna be J-Rock.
We don't know if he's actually gonna tell us. I was just gonna try and get it out of him.
No, this motherfucker's gonna tell us. He's gonna tell us. I feel it in my gut.
Because he told me, he was like, I said, yo, could you come on the show? He said, yeah. And I was like, he was like, yeah, actually, I should be knowing my next opponent by Sunday. So I'm like, perfect. So just come on 7:30,
Yo, that's why I think it's J-Rock, because especially if he said I should know by Sunday, it means he was waiting for some results on Saturday. Either Charlo or J-Rock.
All right, well, let's take it to the streets anyway, because we got about 4 minutes before he calls in, assuming that he's on time.
Ishe Smith.
Don't you wish that evil upon us, Beeb? Get off the show again.
Ishe Smith.
Don't you do it.
That in the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke that fucking name. Come on, stop that, Beeb.
I wish I had holy water to throw on you right now. Go away. You're funny.
All right, let's take this call.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nelson.
No, motherfucker, I didn't say my name was different. What the fuck?
Oh, you said your name was Nelson.
No, I didn't. You need to clean your motherfucking ears out, nigga.
Still the funniest intro, man. I fucking love that shit.
I love it. Is it Nelta?
Yeah, it's me.
I got you. Yes.
Yo, you know what the worst part about it is? Real quick, I'll let you burn, bro. Is that half the time we call you Nelson now?
That is true. But
Go
yeah,
for it.
no, I actually agree with you, James, though, on the Floyd Mayweather versus T.I. BS. The whole thing is T.I. was pissed because see he's thinking that his chick is fucking around on him, so it doesn't matter how big Floyd Mayweather is, he's just gonna start swinging on him. That's just how it is, when you got to do that straight simping over a chick.
Yo, I'll swing on anyone knowing that someone will break it up. I'll swing on anyone. Someone's going to break it up. I'll swing on Ness. Ness is like 10 feet above me.
See, James, that's where I disagree with you because you got to think of the mindset of a T.I., right? Mayweather's bodyguards was just in the media a couple of weeks ago where they alleged beat another dude up for robbing some Mayweather jewelry, right? So, like, these dudes are always ready for action. You being T.I., what do you think? Oh, because I'm T.I., these big-ass bodyguards aren't still going to whoop my ass? Why would you think that? From some dudes that just came out the club, working or not.
But T.I. got some big-ass bodyguards with him, too. And they're in the middle of a fat burger. Let's be real.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that shit was not fake, bottom line.
I'm not saying it was fake. I'm just saying he took his opportunity. He had an opportunity, and it was the safest opportunity ever.
When you're that pissed, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna do stupid shit sometimes, And so he was walking right into an ass whooping that he knew he wasn't gonna be able to get out of once the hand started flying. You know what I mean?
Hey, Nelta.
That's Floyd.
I hear it all in your voice that you've been through something like this. What she do, man? What she doing? Who you do it to? Who you beat up? I could tell you beat somebody up over a girl. I can hear it.
Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out, Nelson. We'll get through it.
Let me know who did it. Take us through your story. Fuck me.
Get through it.
Who hurt you, Norta? Who hurt you?
Nah, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. Don't deny it, though.
Did it happen? He's admitting that it happened. We got him, guys.
That's classic.
Your new name is Romeo. It's Romeo and the Capulets.
Hey, yo, I'm going to make you a new intro. It's going to be a Romeo intro.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. You see how he had to add that little extra hood on the end to give himself that pass right back?
No, I'm just saying. That's the way it is, man. That's how dudes act, straight up. You know.
Oh, he's a romantic. He's a romantic type.
When you out taking a picture, when you out taking pictures and shit with another dude's chick, what the fuck is he gonna think? It's like that Donald Sterling thing. Chick was taking pictures with Magic Johnson and shit. Nigga's name is Magic Johnson. He's, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to see that. But that's another story though, man. But on the fights though. On the fights though, I was gonna say the same thing as Beef, that Trout's probably gonna be fighting shit with this, man. Cause you know Mayweather's got to do something for his homeboy. Cause who else is fighting?
Yo, get rid of Northa right now. Fuck that. You don't bring up Ishe Smith on this fucking call as fucking fighting Austin Trout. You don't do that to us. It's not fair.
It happened,
it's not
baby.
fair to us, and it's not fair to the fans. All right.
Ishe Smith, one of the most entertaining fighters around, baby. It's gonna happen.
I'd rather harpoon my heart.
Yeah, and you know the thing is, I got the Petrov Karkamov fight wrong, man. That shit would suck. But
we all did, except for I think James. James picked Petrov, I think, right?
I didn't. Yo, first off, this is one of those weird areas that I wasn't on the pick, but I would have picked Petrov.
I believe you.
I can't really say shit because it's kind of one of those hindsight things. So
yeah.
I won't talk shit. I won't talk shit.
I'm gonna mute you, and I'm gonna definitely come back to you. But Trout is calling in. He said so. I just want to free it up. But you know I will come back. You alumni, baby. You got an intro and everything. You should know that. Wear like a badge of honor on your chest. Well, I guess too he calls in because he just texted me, said call in, but I don't see the number. Anyway, Karkamos let me down. Adams, he needs a new trainer. He needs a new trainer, definitely. Williams upside. I really hope the Trout says it's Williams, man. Okay, this is Trout right here, right? Let me double check this. Yes, that's him. Austin, you there? Austin, you there? Austin. Oh, I don't know. Dropped off. All right, well, okay, there he goes again. Austin, you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
We're good, man. You know that I told everybody, you told me you was going to find out who you was fighting today, so everybody's waiting. We're all on pins and needles. We're over here guessing like, well, I think it's Williams after the win. Beeb said he thinks it's Ishe Smith.
Don't do that.
Tell me that it's not Ishe Smith,
You know,
at least.
I wish I had one of those in the call, but to be honest, the name that I've heard, and this ain't even official, is an Australian named Daniel Dawson.
Oh, I know him.
As long as it's not Ishe Smith, thank you, Austin Trout, for saying that.
He fought Zinzurich. I remember when he fought Zinzurich, Sergey Zinzurich. He had a title shot.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Austin, tell me, please, tell me, because look, I'm fucking honest. When you just said whatever name you just fucking said, I felt like a pain in my chest. Tell me you're not fighting some nobody.
Man,
I was ranked before Ness. He was a ranked contender at one time.
You know
Beeb, stop being politically correct, Beeb. Stop being politically correct, because we're not going to let him go and then be bashing him behind his back. Come on, we're going to tell him the truth here.
Yeah, but give him a break. Look how many tough fights in a row he's had. Like, give him some type of warm-up fight.
To get the winner or loser of the Cotto Martinez fight. I understand. I got some steps to take to get there. So, you know, if this is one of the steps, then so be it. But, yeah, Daniel Dawson's the name I got. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm looking for maybe an Angulo, for like, I even take Ishe Smith, one of the Charlo brothers. I heard somebody call me out last night. Was that Williams?
Probably. J-Rock calls everyone out. But, Austin, please don't take Ishe Smith. We don't want to see him again. Please.
Give the guy a break, man.
I want to get into.
Yo, if it's not Contender Season 4, I don't want to see him again.
Hold on, guys. Let me get into Austin's mind. I'm gonna put him on our chair. We're gonna lay you down on our Boxing Voice therapeutic chair here, please. Ishe Smith, you're saying him why? Because he's been on TV a lot, and casual fans know who he is, so the fight is a recognizable fight. But stylistically, I don't understand why you would be saying Ishe Smith.
Well, I mean, I think that stylistically, I think it'd be a good fight for me. I think it made me look good.
If you promise me you knock him out, I'd be okay with it.
But
well, yeah,
Austin,
he's got a big ass head.
Austin,
yeah, he does.
cliche ever made look good.
I know, but I think it's because nobody saw him. You know, he's one of those guys that no one paid attention to, so they're like, usually I'm gonna go ahead and go through this. But then he makes sure it's bad because he's got an awkward style. You know, now I've seen him fight a few times, and I see the things that can be done to look great against him.
So clearly, you're looking for the rankings in the IBF. I mean, is a Molina fight in Mexico?
I'm looking at rankings anywhere. I'm trying to get back to my belt. And as a matter of fact, the Dawson cat supposedly is ranked, and then we can get it for an interim title. I think he's ranked like in the top 10 for the WBA. So I'm just trying to get back to my title. You know, Lara's got it, and he's going to go ahead and fight Canelo for it. But, you know, eventually I'm trying to get back to them.
Yeah, well, also, they're not fighting for that title, so, I mean, win, lose, or draw, would you, I mean, even if Lara loses, would you still be willing to take that fight with him to kind of get the title back, or?
Wait a minute. They're not fighting for Lara's WBA belt?
No, Canelo doesn't want it. It's a pound above. It's 155.
What a lazy man. That's funny, man. Well, yes, win, lose, or draw. Yes, I got to get back to both of them. But, you know, Lara has got the belt, so he's worth more, in my opinion, right now than Canelo. Even though Canelo is the draw, I think Lara's going to do his thing and be worth a lot more after this next fight.
Well, Austin, I see an easier route. I mean, being as though that you're signed with Al Heyman, Carlos Molina signed with Al Heyman, he's in Mexico with a title. You fought in Mexico. You fought both Rigoberto Alvarez and Canelo Alvarez, and you live near Mexico. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to just make that fight happen in Mexico and bring that belt back over here?
Oh, most definitely. I don't know what his legal situation is, but I will go to Mexico. I told people before, like, Mexico has never been a problem. Every time I went, they show love. Matter of fact, I'll go to Mexico before I go back to Texas.
Wow.
That's ballsy.
No, I actually agree with him 100%.
Yeah, but you don't think that Austin, you don't really think that they're like, because I talked to you when you were in Phoenix. I don't know if you remember me. I was at the Iron Boy weigh-in with you. Like,
yeah.
you mentioned to me that you thought that Lara would most likely win, but you weren't sure he would get the decision against Canelo. Now, if you're gonna go to Mexico and fight a Mexican fighter for a world title, you don't think that there's any shady business that could be going on? You're not worried about that a little bit?
Man, like I said, I've been to Mexico 3 different times fighting the Mexican champion or the draw, and I've gotten a fair shake at each time. Yeah, I'm a bit worried, but again, Molina's not Canelo. Molina doesn't have all of Mexico behind him. You know, it might have been more of a problem even going to Chicago and worrying about getting a fair shake than Mexico with Molina.
That's actually a really good point.
You get a lot of good fair shakes because, to be honest with you, when you announced the Cotto fight, man, I didn't think you'd get that decision. There's no way if you didn't knock out Cotto in the Garden, man, you got it. So you actually luck out, man. You fight well and you luck the fuck out. That's good, man. But anyway, so let me bring it to another little thing. I want to talk about you, but I kind of want to bring it up because a lot of people are talking about it. Again, when we talked in our interview, you said that you thought Lara was gonna take Canelo. Let me ask you, because stylistically, I fully believe you, because you basically outboxed Canelo. I think Lara's gonna be able to outbox Canelo. I think Canelo is ripe to be outboxed.
Right.
If you had to compare them stylistically, and even more so power, because a lot of people are saying that basically they think that Lara is going to get knocked out if Canelo wins because of his power. If you had to compare both of them with her, I guess I don't want to repeat it again, but power, and their ability to kind of land punches on you, kind of just give us a description of what you experienced in the ring with both of them and what was different.
Well, you know, Canelo was a stronger fighter, but Lara, he pinpointed them shots a lot better. He put them in the right place. So, I mean, the ones you don't see are the ones that get you. I felt like after, the first left hand I ate, I was like, oh, I could take this, until I didn't see the shit, and I was like, oh, good night. So, with Canelo, he is stronger physically, but Lara's more accurate. And like I say, I think he could pinpoint them Johnson. And again, like, I felt like I was outboxing Canelo fairly easy first 4 rounds. And, Lara's a better boxer than I am. So if they don't have, like, some open scoring and that shit like that, I think he's just going to box him all the way through the 12. But as you know, Lara's not a busy fighter. He does what he needs to do, and, you know, he gets through and wins rounds. Will they give him the round? That's what I'd be most worried about. Judges.
Now, you just kind of admitted that you think that Lara's a little bit better of a boxer than you. What do you think you could do if you were to go in a rematch? Because, I mean, you're a boxer as well. So what do you think you could change up, and how can you teach an old dog new tricks that would kind of make that favor to you?
Being able to punch while you're moving, you know, being able to keep your hands moving while your feet moving and head moving. It's a lot of coordination that you know, I didn't think it was going to be so hard to do. But that's the one thing we got to work on, is being able to punch, move, and move your head at the same time.
I mean, so realistically, the 154 division's really kind of opening up here. I don't want to say you're definitely in the mix, but last night on Showtime, I don't know if you watched it, they showed a list of all the contenders that are kind of in the American class, like 154, and we're looking at a list of like 10 people deep. So when you see something like that, is it there's more competition for your namesake, or do you like it and kind of smile knowing that there's going to be a lot of competitive fights coming up for you to kind of prove yourself to get back to your title, should you not get Lara in your next fight?
Exactly. I'm with the second one. The more names that out there, the more can be done. Like, I would hate to be in a situation like Andre Ward's in where he ain't got nobody to fight. You know, he beat everybody too easy. And people don't necessarily want to give him credit as a pound-for-pound king because, you know, they want to say who he fought, but he's fought everybody in that class. You know, Arthur Abraham, Mikhail Kessler, Paul Froch, and now who's there left to fight? Now, in the junior middleweight class, you know, there's not a shortage of names, a shortage of good fighters, and it's definitely a blessing to be in the mix with all these good fighters. So it makes me smile and proud, you know, to be in this mix, because I do believe that I am on the top of this list. I just ain't proved it yet.
Yeah, Austin, who surprises you the most? I'm not gonna say surprises you, but which one of the young 154 guys do you think has, I guess, either blossomed right before your eyes or is on the verge of blossoming in front of the world?
Well, and don't get me wrong, the Charlie twins are my guys. They're cool, but I never remember which one is Jamel, which one is Jamal.
Jamel is the one that used to have the dreads. Jamel used to have dreads.
The one I just fought, right?
Yep, yeah, that's the dreads. That's the X-dreads.
The other one's been getting better and better and better every fight I see. You know, that's the one that beat Rosado, right?
No, Jamel beat Rosado. Jamal is the one that has the power puncher. The one that fought last night was Jamel. The one that fought Rosado, yeah.
Okay, yeah. He keeps getting better. You know, minus the last fight last night. You know, that kid. I think he surprised him a bit, but he's been getting better and better and better. At this rate, he's already a problem, but you know, I think he could be, you know, something real good, and I'm gonna definitely let them put that money up for a fight like that. Unless they promise me, you know, a rematch if I go through him and shit. Let's go.
Yeah, Austin. Now, you know,
somebody was talking about me and the one that was gonna fight Carlos Molina for the belt, and they're talking about me fighting the Trout twin, and then he actually said, "So what? They want us to fight Trout?" I said, "Shit, get it for that IBF belt round. I'm all the way in. I'm just trying to get my belt back." You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you talked about the list at 154. What about the list at 160? I mean, that's a good list, too. There's a lot of guys up there to fight. How much longer until you think you make the jump, and would you go swim with the Sharks right away, or you think you'd take a couple of fights at 160 to get acclimated to the weight?
Well, my plan is to take over 154 first. And, you know, there's a lot to do here. You know, I don't see any reason, unless besides that I can't physically make the weight, which I can make the weight fine now. But yeah, I think for my legacy and what I got in my mind and plan, moving to 160 is imperative for it, but not too soon. I would hate to move out of 154 and jump to 160. You know what I mean? When there's still something to be done at 154. You know, I don't know if you remember when Floyd moved from 140 to 147 and Ricky Hatton was still champ, and they're like, well, why are you moving? I don't want anything unfinished done at 154 until I can't. Unless I say I can't make it no more, then I can't make it no more. You know, there's no excuse in that. But you know, I'm set. My heart is set on the 154-pound weight class. And you know, eventually, I do plan on going to 160, unless they threw an opportunity like, oh, you could get the winner of, or loser of Martinez Cotto, then I'm jumping up.
Yeah, and you know, you're a guy that stays, you know, in the gym and around your weight. So, you know, I believe you when you say that. Now, you talk about Martinez Cotto. Who do you favorite in that fight?
You know, it's hard to say because really, I think it depends on really what Martinez is showing up. We don't know if he's still injured, if the injuries are going to play a part. I think he's been injured in his last 3 fights that he's had. And so, you know, I think he's starting to age and get old, man. And if he does, I think Cotto's going to eke out a surprise and win that fight. Because, you know, under Freddie Roach, you know, he was looking good. He was back to his body punching days and his left hooking ways. And I think that would be a problem for Martinez. Martinez, you know, he has a good hand speed, but if his ankles hurt, his knees hurt, we ain't going to be able to move. And that's you have to move on Cotto.
Just a fun question. Who's the hardest puncher you dealt with since you've been in there with Lara, Canelo, and Cotto?
Yeah, it was Canelo. Okay. Yeah, thus far.
Rank him for me. Would you put Cotto above Lara?
To be honest, Cotto never caught me as clean as Lara, so I couldn't tell you.
That's a good thing. That's a real good thing.
Huh?
No, I was just saying that's a good thing because that guy has some mean left hooks.
Yeah. That shoulder. A few times I was watching the fight, but yeah, thank God for that shoulder roll right there.
Yeah.
Austin, do you think that because you've been in so tough your last couple of fights, do you think that you deserve kind of a stay busy fight? You think that will do you well?
I think so. I mean, this fighting twice a year, it ain't good for me. When I was fighting 3, 4, 5 times a year, I was at my sharpest. Like, you ain't even seen me sharp yet because there's 2 times a year. It feels like I got to, you know, fight off some type of ring rust. And I'm young, you know what I mean? I feel like I should be fighting at least 3, possibly 4 times. At first, I was against taking tune-ups and past this tune-up shit. But, you know, I think I deserve a little breather. I'm not saying that anybody I'm fighting next I'm taking lightly. You know, I'm going to go ham in camp. I'm going to go ham in the ring. But, you know, if the last people I had to fight had to be on top of my A game. And for the last 2, I would not. You know, I hadn't had no room for error. So it'd be nice to be able to make an error and not have to pay for it with the blemish on my record.
Now, even when you were the champion, you still had to prove yourself. There was a lot of doubters out there. There were a lot of other champions out there that you had to fight. Now you're not champion anymore. So basically, you're still in the same position, but the only difference is you don't have the belt. You're still out there. There's a lot of talent out there. You still have to prove yourself. So knowing that, does that kind of help you deal with your situation a little better as not being the champion presently?
No. You know what I mean? I miss that belt. Like, you know, they let you keep the belt. I ain't touched it, picked it up since I lost it, and I can't wait to get it again. And so it doesn't help. It makes me hungry, though. It makes me, you know, itching to get back to the title. Because really, I didn't have anything in the boxing game but my undefeated record and my belt. So, I need to get at least one of them back since I can't get my undefeated record back.
Absolutely. Now, after the Canelo fight, I believe you can't mention something about an injury. To your credit, you never mentioned it. You never used an excuse for losing the fight. Can you elaborate on that injury? Was there an injury? And if so, what was it?
Well, the 7th round, when I got caught that right hand, I think it was the 7th round. When I got caught that right hand, that put me down. When I took a step, I rolled my ankle and tore my tendon.
Okay.
Like the 7th round, but I mean, it's not an excuse because my adrenaline was going so ham. I ain't feel it till after the fight.
Okay. Now, you picked Lara over Canelo. What is the determining factor that makes you believe that Lara will win that fight?
I think he's just a smarter overall fighter. You've seen Lara could bang if he kind of don't like to. You know, if he lets the hang, he could hurt you with him. I think the experience of these guys, the ring generalship, Canelo's, he surprised me before, I'm not knocking Canelo thinking that, he ain't a good fighter. He's a good fighter, a damn good fighter. For me, though, it's just harder. It was harder to figure out Lara. Canelo, I felt like it was pretty easy to get a beat on him until, he started running. But Lara was just hard to figure out, man. As soon as I felt like I had a little beat, he'd switch it up. He never had a rhythm that I could catch.
Okay.
I guess that's basically it for now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know you deserve. I don't want to say deserve, but I know that you could take an easy fight. I mean, you have been through all the names in the division at this point. I mean, you even fought Delvin Rodriguez. You fought Rigoberto. You fought Trout. I mean, Alvarez. Both of them. Lara. So if you get into a tune-up, I hear you. I just figure you should take, I don't know, take one of the young up-and-coming guys as your tune-up. I mean, it's kind of the same thing,
get
but
them
you
out
get
the way.
more credit for it.
Right. And that's what I asked for, I said, let me get one of these guys that might be a problem in a year. Let me go ahead and do something now so I can get in their head for the next year, you know what I mean? These young boys. But Al got them all. He's not thinking that was a good idea yet, I guess.
You got to clean house for us, Austin, because there's so many of these up and comers at 154. We got to know which one's legit, and I think you're definitely the guy that can take care of the unlegit real quick.
Hey, Austin.
Well, and not to mention they got to take the test. I look at I wasn't brought up by Al Haymon. I came in with that at 25-0, 24-0. So maybe that's why, but I see these guys and they get to fight. Whoever, whatever the name is, and then they got a decent record, but you ain't fought nobody. And I see the game, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not hating. I'm not knocking it, because if I could have done it that way, if I was able to, I would have. So there's not I'm not taking shots. Just don't be mad at me because I'm trying to take, not necessarily a killer. And I don't want an easy fight. I never asked for an easy fight. If they said, won't you go ahead and jump in with Adonis Stevenson? You're like, okay, how much y'all gonna pay for that? Is the belt on the line? Okay, I'll do it. Catch weight though. You know what I mean? I'm not one to say no. I don't think I've ever said no to a fight.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick question. On the vein of Al,
back to say yes to a fight, and my manager didn't want.
Let me ask you a quick question on the vein of Al Haymon. With all that's going around the news, what's happening with Golden Boy and stuff like that, there's a lot of speculation on who's actually signed with Golden Boy and who's signed with Al Haymon exclusively. Are you signed with both Al Haymon and Golden Boy, or is it just one or the other? Well, or at least Al Haymon.
I'm only signed with Al Haymon. Although Golden Boy they have promoted my last, I think, 7 fights, maybe 8 fights now. So I don't have a contract with them. I've been on their cards, and like for the Mayweather fights, they throw me up there and show me love as if I was one of their fighters. I mean, I rock with it, but I don't have a contract per se.
Based on the temperament of boxing and everything that's been going on, if Golden Boy approached you tomorrow to sign a lengthy contract, like I don't know, maybe 4, 5, 6 fights, would you sign it tomorrow?
Get Al Haymon, I'm like, okay, that's that. Because what you don't want to do is piss off the man who's running the company that's approaching.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, dude.
Let me ask you another quick question. I said that maybe that was going to be my last one, but it's not often I get to talk about...
You got to look out before you get Austin in trouble.
Yo, I'm not trying to get Austin in trouble. I want to get in mind frame because Al Haymon's the man, the myth, the legend. He's the man behind the curtain. So when you talk to Al Haymon, are you usually typically talking to him, or are you talking to someone that's like a representative for him? How often do you even get to see him?
No, they
don't ever see him.
James, I can tell you that very few fighters have seen Al Haymon.
But maybe Austin Trout's different.
I've been blessed. So I've gotten to I've met Al. about 5 times. 2 of them, you know, like he sometimes been in passing at the fight, you know, like, hey, how you doing now? Or he'll approach. I've gotten to sit down and have about 3 meetings with Al. I say I've been blessed to see him. And then the thing about Al, and I would say this right away, I was always nervous about going to promoters because I had a lot of fighters because I felt like they would, you know, shelve me or fade me to the background, and that's the one thing I didn't want. Now Al got like 90-something fighters and plus some, and if I ever needed something, I could call his phone and he'll answer it, and he'll take care of the problem or, you know, get back to me, and he usually does. So for him to still make me feel important enough to take his time out and personally talk to me, you know, I know that must be hard. And to have 90 fighters and still do that, you know, I'm very appreciative of that. So, you know, Al, it doesn't even feel like he's got that many fighters.
Well, let's
and not that I'm a diva fighter or anything. I don't need Fiji water only type ish, you know what I mean? But if there's any issue, probably I could call him. And if he ain't answer, he'll call me back.
But Austin, let's not forget, you were an Al Heyman fighter that was on the grandest stage. You fought Miguel Cotto at the Barclays Center in front of like 13, 14. I don't even know what. I know it was a bunch of thousands. I was there live. Then you fought Canelo. So, of course, you're going to meet Al. But believe me, I've talked to a lot of Al Heyman fighters that haven't met him, barely meet him. Or, like you said, they see him at a fight. Like he goes, and believe me, I've seen him at the Broner Maidana. He was there, and he was with Broner, of course. But if you're not on that level, he ain't even. I'm not saying that he's not treating y'all all the same. I'm just saying he's not around, because that's what I'm hearing. I ask everybody, every fighter, the same thing. The signs on.
Well, I feel even more special than shoot.
You should. You're Austin Trout, no doubt Trout. Hey, man, give everybody your social media so we can get you out of here. We don't want to bore you to death, and then we want to thank you, of course, for coming on.
Hey, never bored to come on Boxing Voice, man. Ness, I appreciate you still rocking with me, bro. I'm going to make y'all proud. Watch. Man. I ain't done yet.
If that fight, look, I had you winning the fight. I took a lot of shit. People said that because of my friendship with you, my pick was biased. But after the Canelo fight, I felt that you won. They didn't give credit for the jab, but Paulie Malignaggi also didn't get credit for the jab. So it becomes a thing where, you know, but because for me, they're like, oh, Ness, but you seen Trout beat Canelo, but you seen Broner beat Malignaggi. Which one is it? Do you give credit for the jab or you don't? In your case, I felt you should have got a lot of credit for the fucking jab.
If nothing else was working, the jab at least was shit.
That's what I was saying. But, man, thanks again for coming on. If you want to give out your social media so some of these listeners can follow you, do so at this time.
Yes, Twitter.com @NoDoubtTrout, Instagram the same, Facebook.com/NoDoubtTrout. And I try to keep it simple. No Doubt Trout across the board. Even if you're on Xbox One, hit me on the gamer tag. No Doubt Trout. I'll be on that Titanfall, go Call of Duty, and don't judge me, Marvel Legos.
Austin, we're boxing fans. We get fucking like 30 pay-per-views a month. Ain't no one's gonna be able to afford Xbox One yet. Come on.
Right. I feel you, man.
All right, Austin, man. Well, you have a good night, man. And, thanks.
Yo,
hey, thank y'all. Have a good one.
All right.
Later, brother.
Let's get to some of these calls real quick. We're going to go back to Nelta because we had to cut him short. Nelta, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's good, man? That was a good call. A good call with Trout. This is a lot more interesting than a lot of these dudes that come on here and, you know, weed it out or whatever. Talking about the bullshit.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Motto for that. Oh, my God.
I like honest people, and he's honest.
Some of these dudes just sound like they're straight up on mollies and they're like about to fall asleep on the phone.
No, some of them sound like they're reading off a script, like they've been waiting their entire life to give the same answers. And that's what I like about Austin. He gives you, he tells you how it is, man. I like that.
No, he's a real dude.
Very authentic.
Yeah, you could tell. Like he's not just like this one of these guys. It's like, oh, boxing is my profession. Like, no offense to Mikey Garcia, met him dozens of times. He's a good dude. I like him. Super nice. You know, reminds me a lot of like a cousin. Honestly, like he's real cool. But you know, you talk to him and I don't know. It's like James said, they're like rehearsed answers. rehearsed, like down to a T. And it's so funny because me and him will be talking, and he'll, Tex-Mex a little bit, Spanish to English, and then I ask him like a question that's in front of the camera, and it's like he gives this regurgitated answer in perfect English, and it's like, all right, we could just talk, bro, like, you know what I mean? But with Trout, it's always been different with him. He's always been just, like I said, so authentic, so real, no doubt.
That he's cool, man. I remember he did like a hospital thing in New York City, and I got out of work early just to make it up there. It was fucking raining and everything. I had to come from Jersey to New York. I go there. It wasn't even a lot of media there to cover this shit, but it felt so much better that way. His wife was there. I got to meet her. And he had like aunts and uncles there, and he was just like going through the hospital, of course, doing his little charity work and whatnot, building up the fight, whatever the case may be. But I got to meet the real Austin in that scenario, and it was good, man. He's a genuine dude, and he's always been there for us.
I got a question, man. Is that Quillen versus Jacobs fight done? Because Jim Gray mentioned that shit flat out to David Lemieux yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question. They actually confirmed it on the broadcast. I don't know if you heard it in their commentary. They straight up said that was next.
Yeah, they've been alluding to that, but Nelta, see, that's why I love bringing you on. Listen, you just talked about one of the most important things that happened last night. What the fuck is up with that Jim Gray saying, well, you were supposed to fight Kovalev over there on HBO. Maybe you want to get him to fight over here. Whoa.
Major fuck up.
Jim Gray's spilling all the beans, man.
No,
that's not a fuck up. That's what he should be doing.
Fuck up. I think it's one network. I think it's one. This is Game of Thrones, and they want that fucking iron chair, and they will stop at nothing. Now they're literally taking shots live on air, trying to bait other fighters from HBO. I love it.
This is HBO's. This is all HBO's fault, though, guys. This is all HBO. Oh, go ahead, Nelton. My bad.
You need to cue up that Jay-Z The Takeover, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Showtime versus HBO, because Showtime's taking this shit over, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
No, and this is a. Go ahead. This is where HBO is just fucked up so bad. They've gotten to the point where, Showtime, remember, guys, like 2 years ago, or maybe like a year and a half ago, Jim Lampley, he was on air. I think it was like the first fight game, and he was all. He said something like, and we asked Showtime if we could have video, which would essentially promote their network and their fighters and their schedule, and they declined. And it was like, Showtime was like, they wanted to kind of just do their business and pretend as though like HBO didn't exist. Not from like a business frame, not like literally, but it was like, we're going to go about our business and forget about whatever they're doing. We're not going to look to the side. We're not going to see who's winning the race. We're just going to play our race. And now look at it. Go ahead, Nelson.
Ever since the fight game's been on, fight game has been on, Jim Lampley's been taking shots at Showtime, Mayweather, and the whole nine, and Al Heyman and all them nonstop. Before that, I thought he was saying that, like, I down as a 20-1 underdog, and this fight is probably going to be whatever,
Yeah. And the irony about the whole thing is Lampley was talking about, oh, this Cold War should end. This Cold War should end.
Exactly.
But it's your network that said, I'm not going to deal with Golden Boy anymore. They're perpetuating the fraud.
Exactly. You could have said it better. And now what are they going to get mad because Showtime's going to do it back now? Showtime played their race, and now they've realized that they've got a good chance of getting to that white marker before HBO. Wherever that marker is, year, 2 years, whatever. And you can't get mad at Showtime for doing what they're doing. You can have all the lawsuits. Look, I love Kathy Dua. I think she's one of the last honest people left in boxing. But at the end of the day, she shouldn't blame the other side. She shouldn't blame herself, certainly. HBO dropped the ball. That's what's going on.
And ironically, Mario, Stevenson quite possibly could be fighting the guy that Kovalev didn't want to fight in Bernard Hopkins. And I don't care what anyone says. Kovalev was the mandatory, okay? And I don't care what anyone says. I've been following Bernard Hopkins' career for 25 years. Anytime he's had a mandatory, he has always fought that person. He has never in his career ever vacated a major title. So with all due respect to Kathy Duval, I love her. She's great. I've been watching main events since the Mark Breland days. So I love main events, and I'm not taking shots at them, and I'm not taking sides. But I'm looking at the empirical data here. I'm looking at the circumstantial evidence. This man has never vacated a title. So if Kovalev really wanted to fight Hopkins, okay, he was the mandatory. It could have been demanded. It could have been ordered. When Hopkins was ordered to fight Chad Dawson, he fought Chad Dawson. He didn't vacate the title. Okay? So I don't want to hear this Stevenson's ducking him, but if you want to say that, that's all well and good, but throw the same criticism towards Kovalev against Hopkins.
Absolutely.
I think it's only fair.
Well said.
People for that by telling you that, remember, I have the video. I interviewed.
And I've been tweeting the shit out of that video just to remind motherfuckers. Because everyone's thinking that Hopkins didn't want to fight. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ness, but at the time, right at the time when Kovalev went to fight Cleverly, I'm not quite sure, but was Hopkins with Showtime exclusively at that point? Or didn't he just finish?
That was in August.
No.
That was in August, wasn't it?
Oh, HBO, Showtime, I need a home.
Yeah, no, that was right in between there.
And so and then after the fact, I guess Steven Espinosa says, "Oh, we don't want to do the fight now," but they had the best opportunity to do it when he was the mandatory, and what he chose to do was go over and fight the weakest champion, with all due respect, in the light heavyweight division, while Adonis Stevenson fought the man who beat the man who beat the man who was the lineal champion. So you could say what you want about all three of these guys, because in my opinion, I think Stevenson would beat the two of them, but I'm not going to say it would. I think they would all be competitive matchups. No one.
I'm glad you brought that
out. I hear these tweets. Oh, Kovalev would destroy Stevenson. Really? I mean, all these fights are great matchups. They would be competitive.
You know why I agree with that is because after last night, I honestly was agreeing with you that I thought that Adonis Stevenson would probably be the one that came out on top of all of them. But every time you've seen these guys, other than Bernard Hopkins, because I believe that Beirut Chauvinot was just straight shit can trash. I mean, we all thought that Kovalev was the truth, and he had issues, not issues or struggled, but he looked vulnerable against Cedric Agnew. And then I thought Fonfara, everyone thought it was going to be a one-sided fight. I thought Fonfara was better than what everyone thought he was going to be. I thought this is exactly what I kind of saw going down, other than the knockdown. I'm not going to tell you I saw that. I didn't anticipate that, but I knew that he was going to be a little bit – I felt like Fonfara was a step above Agnew. So I was like, this is more of a struggle for
James, do you want to hear something?
But real quick, hold on. But Stevenson really showed me last night that he has that extra gear that a lot of people are missing.
Exactly.
That he's able to kind of step up above you. Yeah, he didn't look the best at times. Yeah, he throws that jab from the hip so he could get left hooked. And, let's be honest, if someone like Bernard Hopkins is going to really, kind of exploit that. But these three fighters, obviously, take Kovalev out of it because unfortunately I don't think that'll ever happen. But this could be possibly the first Bernard Hopkins fight in a long time that I'm really looking forward to, only because I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than people think that can be. Because I think that Bernard Hopkins is farther along, or at least has enough tricks in his bag to kind of stump Adonis Stevenson. And I don't think his power is as great as you think it's going to be when you see him against someone like Bernard Hopkins. I don't think he's going to ice out Bernard Hopkins.
Maybe not. I think flush.
I think that's going to be 12 rounds. He's not going to be able to hit him flush. And I think that you're going to see a different sign of Adonis Stevenson. And I almost don't even want to pick against it, but I really would favor Adonis right now. But I think that last night really showed me a lot about Adonis Stevenson, about what kind of resilience he has. What kind of, not even that, it's what kind of poise and what kind of calmness he was allowed to bring to the ring. When the going got tough, he didn't just wing his fucking hands because he knew he had power. He relaxed. And that's something you can't teach. You really can't teach someone to calm down. You could tell them 100 times, you need to relax. They're still going to go out there and swing for the fucking fences. Like, look at what happened with Fernando Guerrero. That guy was sitting there, and he was getting picked off, and he was getting banged up, and he was swinging wide still because he was so nervous. He wanted to exchange so bad because he knew he was hurt. Adonis Stevenson didn't do that, and I feel like he's in there with higher competition. Don't let his knockdown and don't let his vulnerability last night taint what Fonfara was able to do to him, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Well, 20 seconds, real quick. Oh, go ahead, Beeb.
A few things. Okay, Fonfara is a much better fighter than Cedric Agnew. And I'm going to say something extremely controversial. I think Fonfara versus Chad Dawson or Jean Pascal would be an excellent fight. The kid's 26 years old.
I don't think that's...
He's only going to get better.
Yeah, I agree.
Number two, why are we going to erase the whole 11 rounds because of one round? We're going to wipe out all the good work that Adonis Stevenson did in that fight because he had one bad spot in one round. You know what I'm saying? So that, I mean, why would we do that?
And it was like those middle rounds he looked vulnerable in, I think.
I scored the fight 9-3, but you know the other two rounds he lost were very competitive and they could have went either way. You know what I'm saying? But I thought the ninth round is the round where he looked very vulnerable.
Well, and that's the thing too. I went back and watched the fight a second time, as I tend to do because I'm a loser. And what I noticed watching it the second time around, Stevenson was a lot less out of the fight, and I know that's a double negative. That sounds weird. Okay, the first time I saw the fight, I thought that Adonis Stevenson was clearly weakening. I thought he was getting either tired or the lactic acid was building up or something. When I saw the fight the second time, it's clear that there was a discrepancy between, after round 9 and the way he fought prior. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't as bad as I thought the first time. And that gear changing that James is referring to, and that Beeb enlightened us a little more on, that was absolutely present. When I watched this fight the second time around, it was just clear as day. You could see it, that there are some guys that when they're withering, they're just letting the world pound on top of them. The moment increases, and they succumb to it. Whether they win the fight or not, they succumb to it in many ways.
Like a champion last night, and that's what you're supposed to do. A lot of guys wouldn't have done that. And with all due respect to Kovalev, I watched Kovalev pound on Agnew's gloves for like 5 rounds before he decided to throw a body shot and take him out. Stevenson was throwing body shots right from the jump and scored an early knockdown with a body shot. Again, I'm not trashing Kovalev. I'm not trashing Hopkins. I think that Stevenson would win because I think he has the complete list of attributes needed to win. I think he has the speed, the power, the ring generalship. I think he has the technique.
The defense.
And I think he has defense. I think he has respectable defense. Absolutely. Absolutely, he has good defense.
Not at all, man.
Well, again, that's subjective. That's your opinion. I just disagree. He slipped a lot of good shots. Again, when you're fighting a world-class fighter, you're not going to go into a fight unscathed. I mean, I don't think he got hit a ton last night. I don't think he did. He got hit some, but he was in there with the guy that was very highly skilled. I thought that Kovalev got hit with shots he shouldn't have got hit with against a much lesser fighter. But I think he has all the tools. Yeah. Whereas Kovalev, I'm not going to say he's not skilled, but I don't think he's as highly skilled as Stevenson. I don't think he's as fast as Stevenson. Arguably, he may punch a little harder, but that's debatable and it's comparable. Hopkins doesn't have the power or the speed, but he can match him in the skill department. So I think Stevenson has more of a wide array of assets at his disposal compared to the other two guys. And I'm going to say one other thing. People are saying, oh, he gassed, whatever. He's not going to fight that same paced fight against Kovalev. He's not going to fight that type of fight. I'm
so glad you said that.
Pace. And if he fights Hopkins, Hopkins is not going to bring that same pace that Fonfara brought. So he's not going to fight the same way he fought last night against those two guys.
With all due respect to everyone out there who has shows and does previews, no one on this panel, and especially Beeb, and I sound like I'm gassing Beeb up this whole show, but no one but especially Beeb said that this was not going to be a one-sided fight. He made it clear that Fonfara has opportunities. It's going to be up to him whether or not he chooses to act on those opportunities or let the mythical, theoretical, or not, and I guess actual power of Stevenson overwhelm him and prevent him from even initiating his fight, even attempting to initiate his game plan. Beeb said that, and that played out just like to a T. After I think it was like the 8th or 9th round, one of those, and he started to engage and initiate, and it wasn't a one-sided fight anymore. But all credit to Beeb for that. But again, it's Stevenson. You can tell that there is this extra gear that makes him a real champion.
Well, that's the importance of watching ESPN fights, because if you would have seen Fonfara beat the shit out of Campillo, you would have known that he wasn't a walkover.
Good point.
Yep. Good point. Yep.
Hey, Nelda, I know that this has been your call, and we've been kind of chewing it up. So if you want to finish up, because we got to get to some other callers.
Yeah. Let me just finish up right quick. What do you call it? Yeah, Lemieux looks good though. I'd like to see him get a rematch with because I don't really think he deserves a shot at the Quillen Jacobs winner until he avenges that loss. Otherwise, it's Rubio shitty. But and then with regard to Stevenson, man, Stevenson his defense looks like shit to me. If Kovalev and Hopkins get inside on him, he's fucked. But as long as he stays outside, then he has the advantage. But I don't think he's going to be able to stay outside on either of them for a full 12 rounds.
Yeah, Hopkins never gets it inside on anyone. Let's be real. So that's exactly why I would favor him in that fight. Kovalev would be a different story. I'd really have to put my mind on that one.
Well, again,
Kovalev throws combos. So Kovalev throws combos, and Stevenson backs out straight back with his hands down, and that's a deadly combination.
But again, I could be totally wrong here. I'm favoring Stevenson, but these are all competitive matchups. I'm hearing people say, "Oh, this guy's going to destroy that guy. That guy's going to." They're all competitive matchups. Yeah. No one's going to. I'd be very surprised if someone blew the other guy out. I really would. I think they're going to be competitive.
But if he doesn't, I think he's fucked. I think Kovalev is going to beat the shit out of him.
But what if Kovalev doesn't hurt him or doesn't knock him out? I mean, Kovalev's not really a volume puncher. He's not a fluid combination puncher. He's a guy that lands big thudding shots, whereas Stevenson lands those sharp surprise type shots. I think Stevenson's a much quicker guy than Kovalev. I really do.
Let me go to this caller because I believe this might be Mali Bangwe. I don't want to play his intro without being sure. Mali Bangwe, is this you? 0114. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? Okay.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. What's up? Who's this?
Oh, hey, it's Daniel from London.
Hey, what's up, Daniel? Thought you was Mali Bangwe.
Yeah, not too much. I was going to talk about the Stevens fight, but to be honest, Beeb and the last caller, they said everything I was going to say. So I haven't really got a lot to say about that. Stevens
all right, well,
too bad. I do believe he had a hand injury.
Talk about Froch Groves for me, though.
Okay.
What do you?
Well, since you're on the line, right, I wanted to segue into Froch Groves' face-off. So you'll be the first to give us your takes on that. I don't like that it's a fucking copy of Max Kellerman's face-off. Who did that first? I mean, are they stealing or were they originating this? But in terms of the content, I like it. I really like Groves. He has like that. I don't need to touch you or curse at you to make you feel littler than me type of demeanor. Like, he was just saying some really sharp, knife-like sentences at Froch, especially when he said, oh, you called yourself an international superstar. And he made, Froch basically eat his words and take all that back and say right there that he's not an international superstar. And Froch even admitted that he got that Groves got under his skin in the first one. So, Daniel, what did you think about this face-off?
To be honest, I haven't seen the face-off thing.
Oh,
in terms of the fight, I think it's there for Groves to win. In the first fight, if he'd have been more aggressive, if he'd gone for the finish in those first few rounds after he had Froch hurt, he could have won that fight. He could have won that fight in 4 or 5 rounds. He didn't go for it. So whether he'll go for it in this fight, whether he'll get that opportunity to hurt Froch in this fight, it's sort of there to be said. I mean, I don't call many fights as 50-50. At the moment, it's hard not to call it a 50-50 fight. Groves has got the speed, Groves has got a bit of power, but Froch has got the fitness, the chin, not the warrior thing, but the experience. You know what I mean? Froch has been in there with a lot better people than Groves has. Groves walks around with a huge chip on his shoulder, and that can be a good thing in boxing. So it's a 50-50 fight in my mind.
But you don't think that Froch has that warrior instinct, though? Like, think about someone like Jermaine Taylor when he was down most of the fight and then came back to win that shit. Was it Jermaine Taylor? I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was Taylor, yeah. I mean, Taylor gassed a little bit. Froch got the punch right at the end, but he was losing that fight. There's no doubt about the fact Froch was going to lose that fight, and I'm a big fan of Froch. He's represented the UK for a couple of dark years we've had. But youth and speed, that's an important thing in boxing.
It's true. So you're favoring Groves in this matchup then, I'm assuming, right? You said yeah?
I mean, I know the UK is a small place, but geographically I'm sort of supporting Groves. I'm another little ginger guy from London, so yeah, I do like Groves, but it's hard to really pick a winner in that fight for me.
I'm glad that you think it's 50-50. Let me ask you something. Who do you think's the better fighter? This is kind of a little off keel here, but do you think Cal Brook is better than Amir Khan, or do you think Amir Khan's better than Cal Brook?
It's hard to know what to think about Cal Brook. He's fought lower people and he's got hit by them. And Amir Khan's, he's got that questionable chin and he's been knocked out. But in the last fight, which, I know Nez had a lot of shit about it already, about not liking Khan in that fight. When Khan got knocked out last year, he was squared up and he was throwing hooks with both fists. He never got in that position in that last fight. He was always in a boxer's position. So Khan's improving. I'd pick him to beat Brook, to be honest.
That's a good point, though.
Hey, Daniel, I like you already.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man. Picking Khan to beat Brook, I'd take that. As much as I hate Khan, I think I like Brook a whole lot more because he gets even more attention for having done nothing. But Daniel, I'm going to place you on hold and move on. We got a bunch of callers here I got to get to. Where he's at?
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Good evening, guys, and by far this is so far the best show you guys have ever done. This is fantastic. So props to all of you. Beeb, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Robbie, why are you thinking that? Are you high as a motherfucker right now?
No. Matter of fact, James, I would pass all pre-fight drug tests, okay?
Oh shit! I kind of want to know why, because I mean I'm having a good time tonight too. But damn, we've had some damn good shows. You think this is the best one so far?
Well, because when you normally have a fighter on like Trout, you guys take your turns in asking questions. This was more like a panel discussion, and I think it went a lot more. It went a lot more smoother than the previous interviews in the past. I think this is the way when you have fighters on. Anybody that's on the panels, I think an open discussion like you just had with Trout, I think that's the best way to go.
We're putting that in the suggestion box per Robbie.
No, seriously, because it was actually like having a normal conversation, and I don't think he really felt like he was being interviewed, and I think that's why he was more open and was
That's a great point.
Questions.
Yeah, I
so
think
what do you
that's
think
why
about
he
the
got a
fights
little
last night?
open.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mario.
No, go ahead, Robbie.
What'd you say?
No, I just want to say I think that's really why. I mean, we asked him some questions that honestly I really didn't think he was going to answer, and he seemed, it was like he was just having a conversation with 4 dudes on the phone talking boxing. Like he seemed pretty laxed, and I enjoyed it too. I agree with you, Robbie. That was awesome. I think it was a good interview. But what did you think about last night?
He opened up so much. He wanted to play Xbox with you guys. What are you talking about?
His rich ass doesn't understand. We don't get paid $250,000 per fucking day.
Yeah. No. As far as last night goes, I agree with a lot of what you guys have already touched on. I've got so much stuff I want to talk about, but I'm just a regular caller. I don't get to do the 3 hours like you guys do.
Whatever you want to talk about, Robbie.
Start,
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about, man.
First of all, I want to thank Trout for making me feel better about my Cotto selection. I want to thank him for making me feel better about Lara. He also made me feel a lot better about Al Heyman. I was starting to wonder about this situation, but man, he answered a lot of questions for me. As far as last night goes, Showtime did an outstanding job. I like what Jim Gray done, especially with Steven talking about Kovalev. I think that was great. HBO, they're in serious trouble. They need to fire Mr. Hirschman and get somebody in there that can actually talk to their executives, because Ken Hirschman does not have the communication skills that Steven Espinoza obviously does with his executives to get deals done. HBO is going to fall behind unless they make a change.
You know what I like most about what Gray said last night is that it's like it drives me insane when people say like it was almost a mistake that he brought up HBO, but it's like if you have HBO, you know Showtime exists. If you have Showtime, you sure as fuck know HBO exists. So it's kind of like when you see Pepsi commercials with Coke. It's kind of like you putting them on blast and being confident in your own product enough that you're willing to mention someone else. It's not like someone's going to be like, oh, shit, what is this HBO? Let me write that down so I can unsubscribe to Showtime. I like that because it kind of, there's a Cold War there, not in the terms that the fighters won't fight, but the networks won't even acknowledge each other's fighters, and that pisses me off just as fucking much. That, like, when they talk about it, they're like, oh, Pacquiao, who do you want? It's only people on Top Rank side. You should call everyone out.
Right about everything that you covered when that series started. But as far as last night goes, I enjoyed. I watched all the Showtime Extreme fights, and Austin, you definitely need to fight Julian Williams. He definitely called you out, and I don't blame you for taking the Australian guy. I've heard of him before. I think he's a decent fighter, but you got to fight J-Rock. J-Rock calls everybody out, so somebody needs to answer his call and find out if he's the real deal.
I completely agree.
And I want to see David Lemieux actually fight somebody that can fight back. The last two fights he's had, he's pretty much destroyed both of his opponents. It's time to step him up, give him somebody more sturdy, more serious, to see if he's the real deal. Because, in my opinion, he does not deserve a shot at Jacobs or Quillen or any of those guys until he starts beating some other people that we've all heard of, or somebody that has a better record. Because he looked good, but we need to see him look better against somebody that can actually fight back.
Robbie, check this out, right? They're just doing the same thing that HBO is doing by creating their own 160-pound division. I mean, why else do you think you see Rosado on HBO fighting Golovkin, and Macklin fighting Golovkin, and now Gil fighting Golovkin, and who else has Golovkin fought on HBO? I mean, they're doing that because they can't mix and match in that division, because that division is split down the middle between two networks. So they're going to give you Lemieux because that's another guy that's ranked, that's out there.
Well, and real quick, Robbie, to add to Ness's point, like, I would love to see him against Danny Jacobs because, no offense to Danny Jacobs, I know everything that he's been through and it's tremendous. He's a great story and he's a great guy and a heart of a champion already. He's proved it. But who's he fought himself? Like, let's be real. I mean, he should. I mean, I think it should be like, why does Danny Jacobs deserve a David Lemieux in a sense? But I think they deserve each other based on what you said, Robbie, because it's like every time we kind of try to step up David Lemieux, he like takes 3 steps backwards. And now it's time. I mean, he's beat Fernando Guerrero, whatever that was worth. And you're right. It's time to kind of take a step up. Danny Jacobs had a shot to step up, and he got demolished. And then he had, of course, the cancer and everything. It took away from his career. And I think they deserve each other at this point. It's kind of like, reminds me a little bit of what Lomachenko and Gary Russell represents, in a sense.
And to be honest with you, I'm gonna kind of quote Beeb and say I'm gonna say something controversial. I think David Lemieux gives fucking headaches to Peter Quillen if he gets in there, physically and mentally. Because let's be real, David Lemieux's kind of like, the 160 Amir Khan, where you're kind of waiting, you're like, you've been sparked out. And he wasn't even knocked out against fucking Rubio. He had Russ Amber, let's be real, we all watched the title boxing videos. We love goddamn title boxing videos.
They were awesome.
So, they were awesome. So we've all known about David Lemieux. Like, for the longest time, I've been like, that dude's going to start icing people. 16 years old, this dude hits harder than a 21-year-old.
12 years old, he looked great.
Dude, he looked immaculate. But now you see him, and there's little flaws where I'm like, damn, Russ wouldn't appreciate that, brother.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
But he does have that. It's not like he has a suspect chin, but it's more so that he's been rocked before, so I think he has a lot of confidence because he was in that. So I'm kind of saying he's the 160 Amir Khan because stylistically he looks great. But with that said, I'm going on record tonight. I think that David Lemieux beats fucking Peter Quillen.
Wow. Robbie?
I really disagree with that. I think that anything that Quillen has shown us is the fact that his power is real. May not be knockout power, but with a guy with the chin of Lemieux, if he tap him on that chin and get him down, then jump on him when he gets up, it's another story. But I wanted to segue into the undercard. Mario touched on it a bit, actually just in passing. Lemieux and Guerrero, it's time that Guerrero, if he's going to keep fighting, because he's lost like 3 out of his last 4, and the one that he won was a gimme versus Gatica, who was also on ESPN's Boxino tournament. Fernando Guerrero needs to really realize that he is too small for the middleweight division. He's just too small. What we seen Lemieux do to him was ridiculous. It was horrible. My wife was watching this, and she felt bad for Guerrero. She was, oh my God, what's going on? Why is he fighting? I'm like, because he's too fucking small. He's too small for the division. I hate to lose the weight. I don't care. He's got this ghost on his shoulder because he felt like I made 154. I fought Greatest Brewer and I got knocked out. That's the reason I got knocked out, because I struggled to make this weight. No, you got knocked out. You can see that now because you don't have a chin. So get the fuck away from those guys. Go back down to 154 where you can probably be the bigger fighter. Because right now, this dude, he's beyond a punching bag, because a punching bag doesn't go or bounce as far as he's gone. Like Lemieux was punching this dude middle of the ring. He's in the ropes.
And I don't want to bring this up because it's not me in the ring. As much as I work with fighters and stuff like that, and I realize it's not me in the ring when I tell them to do certain shit. It's them who gets fucking hurt. But with that said, man, Fernando Guerrero was looking for a way out of that fight last night. When he was running up to the doc being like, oh, but my eye. It was almost like he was convincing the doc to stop the fight there, but he was just like, "Oh, I'm not gonna just fucking stop the fight." And then he got iced out. Then he goes to the floor, looks up at David Lemieux, then drops his head to the ground like he was rocked even more than he was. He was putting on a show, and I hate to say it, but I saw it through it. That dude did not want to be in there anymore, and he looked for his first way out. And again, not me taking David Lemieux's punches. It's not me taking those punches in the face. Maybe I'd bitch out and do the same thing, but what I'm saying is he was looking for a way out, and I agree wholeheartedly with you, bro. But what I will say is I don't think that dude could lose any weight because he looked fucking shredded last night. And to say he's having issues making weight or he could go any lower, that's going to be hard for me to understand.
I don't think he can make 154 anymore. The problem is he just doesn't have the defense to stop these guys. He's just getting hit so flush.
When was the last time he fought at 154, Beep?
When he fought Greatest Brewer, but
that had to be about 2 years ago, I think.
The thing is, Mario, that when they decided to make an executive decision to bring him down to 154, he lost by knockout. So automatically he assumes that's the reason that he lost, because I made this weight. But
fair point.
Look at him in his last 4 fights. He's the smaller man. He does not belong at middleweight. He looked like a little fucking G.I. Joe doll versus a fucking, I don't know, Voltron doll or something, man. It was ridiculous. He was too small. He's too small for that.
You know, Lemieux's not a really big 160 guy either, though. He's not a huge.
You know, that's funny you say that, because I thought the exact opposite. It wasn't like he was shredded. I didn't even see a six-pack on this dude's abs. No homo, right? So, like,
no, but
a minute, what was he? What they say? 180? Was he 180 or something like last night, or 175?
Physically bigger to you when you see?
No, he definitely did.
I thought he looked a lot bigger. So yeah, so I think he's a big 160. I think that dude's waiting to go up to super middleweight.
I thought you were saying the opposite.
He's not really big boned.
No.
He's not a big framed guy. Maybe he's a stocky guy, but I don't think he's as big as Quillen.
Well, you got to remember too, most of your power comes from your legs. So
That's
that dude, he might not look as like big as you think he is. I mean, realistically, those legs are tree trunks. Go back and watch that shit. He has huge calves and huge thighs.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at the transformation over the last 3 fights, because I watched both guys last couple fights, or it wasn't their last, but I just watched a couple fights this past week, and if you see the transformation, it's apparent. Like he got bigger.
That high guard, though, that's new. That's almost brand new to me, the way that he was doing that high guard. I don't remember him doing that.
Well,
Lemieux, anyway, is what I'm saying.
It looked like he worked on his defense a little bit. He was getting low, ducking under shots. And not only that, I mean, he's still young. And I think a lot of his knockout, the situation with him getting stopped in fights, whatever, I think that was due to stamina. I think as he gets older, he's going to learn how to control his adrenaline. And it could just be a lot of anxiety inside him. Once he starts settling down, he looked very calm last night. He didn't look like he was reaching for shots. He just Everything was nicely set up. So I think as he matures as a fighter, maybe he'll start being able to control that adrenaline, and you won't see him get hurt as much. Because I think a lot of it's due to fatigue.
Yep.
Hey guys, I wanted to get your thoughts on this really awesome fucking match out. Shout out to Lex Luger and of course Matt for penciling this thing in here. Rios is going to be returning, and the runner-up looks like it's going to be Diego Chavez.
I love that fight.
The ball on Diego Chavez is beyond me, but the fact that we get to watch him again, I'm super stoked, and I think he could probably beat Rios. I mean, this is going to be a welterweight fight, so maybe Rios looks better at 147. He's not fighting Pacquiao this time, but I think Chavez has some good upside. They're looking to take this card to Las Vegas or Fresno, California, and if Rios wins this, he could have a major fight against either Tim Bradley or Alvarado in a third fight, is what Aram said. Also on this card is going to be Jesse Vargas, and he's going to be but making his first defense of his junior welterweight title that he picked up last time versus Khabib. He's going to be fighting Anton Nikovov, whatever, some southpaw from Russia that I never heard of. He's 29-0 with 10 KOs. It's going to be a split site triple header. While Rios and Vargas fight at one site, plans are in the works for the light heavyweight titleist Sergey Kovalev to also fight, probably in Atlantic City. So I am really excited. This is a better card to watch on TV than actually go to because you can't be in all three of these locations. But this is a dope card right here.
I love Diego Chavez coming in, getting this opportunity. You're right. How did they drop the ball? Diego Chavez is one of those guys who I really didn't have a good beat on him. I saw him fight, I think it was Unimos maybe, a couple times, and I looked at him and I saw stylistically, I felt like he was boring. I felt like he was kind of guy who would wait for someone to make the fight, and then he could be exciting for sure. So I'm thinking of somebody, but it's not coming to my mind. But anyway, Diego Chavez has really impressed me in the last year. He's done some incredible things, and I think Rios is the perfect combatant because Rios is the kind of guy who is, he wants to tag you back. Those are always some of the best action fighters, the guys that can't live with being tagged last. You know what I mean? Heading into the 10 seconds. That's what makes 10 seconds great between brawlers and guys that are, high level intensity and energy is the fact that they want to get you back before the round ends, and it makes for incredible fights. And so I think Diego Chavez, to counterbalance that, is a guy who doesn't mind giving up 2 to get 1. And I mean, that's explosive. I think that's that's Breaking Bad explosive type stuff.
On paper, I think this could be fight of the year, to be honest with you, man.
Good point.
As soon as I heard about this, I was just like you said it, man. You hit it right on the head. That Diego Chavez, he loves to exchange with you. I mean, with the Thurman fight, I think Thurman was just a step above him, where I think Thurman's a step above Brandon Rios. And let's be real, when you get 2 B-side fighters in the ring, it's going to be explosive. I think it's going to be – I'm going to go out on the limb and say that I think it's going to be closer and better than I think what the Alvarado 2 was with Brandon Rios. But win, lose, or draw, I still wouldn't mind seeing Alvarado Rios 3. But I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's great. I don't know much about the guy that Vargas is fighting, so that's kind of going to be the Donaire Nishioka fight on the fucking prelims to the Rios Alvarado fight. But Diego Chavez isn't getting enough credit for what he did against Thurman because people saw him get beat and he got knocked out. But at the same time, it's like, think about the fight that you got before that as opposed to the result of the fight. It was a great fight. I thought that was a good fight. I thought it was entertaining. So going up against someone like Brandon Rios, Diego Chavez has one thing, and I know he does for certain, is that dude's got power. I mean, he's stunned Thurman a few times. So if anything's going to be, but we're going to see what Brandon Rios is made of. Not that we haven't seen it before, but this is such a good fight, man. I think that both these dudes are going to go out on the limb and just start fighting each other. And let's be real, he's also an Argentinian, so I think that Marcos Maidana knows a lot about him, or at least more than what we know. So I think that he's going to be able to stylistically kind of tell him how to get in the inside pocket. I honestly think that Diego Chavez is going to take this, but I mean, it's going to be such a good fight, and I can't fucking wait.
Beeb, you got anything to touch on this, man? I think this is big news. It's a great fight.
Yeah, it is a great fight. And part of me wants to say that Diego Chavez could win this fight, but then there's the other part of me that says this is a good opponent for Rios in terms of style. So
that's a fair point.
I'm going to kind of let this one marinate a little bit, and I'm going to have to think really hard before I make my pick. But you're 100% right. This is a great card.
I reserve the right
like
to
I said,
flip-flop.
HBO does make good cards. It's no question about it. But my only concern right now is that Showtime just seems to be taking a lot of their fighters, number one. And number two, you got a guy like Ward, you got a guy like Mikey Garcia, you got a guy like Chavez Jr. They're all on the shelf right now dealing with contract disputes. So those are three big stars right there that you're not going to be able to see on HBO. So while all that's going on, you're seeing Showtime putting on triple headers, quadruple headers, and they continue to put out show after show after show, as well as their show box. So I'm not really taking sides. I'm just looking at the landscape here. I don't want to go off topic too much, but I'm just looking at the landscape, and I just like how Showtime's coming up with a big calendar, a busy calendar. Although this month of June will be a good month for HBO, but after that, I don't know what's going to happen.
Let's take 5 straight callers here, man. We got a lot of people. 803, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, what's up? This is Rock. I wanted to talk about, man, great discussion, which I was talking about. Well, yeah, Austin Trout, come on the line and everything. However, my topic today was the Deontay Wilder fighting a guy. And I wanted to know, do you think Deontay Wilder is going to be, like, real successful in the heavyweight, or he's just a fluke that really didn't fight nobody? You know what I'm saying? Because, I wonder what's what do you think about Deontay Wilder? Because, he's perfect with knockouts. And, I just wanted to see, where you think he stood as far as, like, in the heavyweight. Does he have a chance to be, like, a great heavyweight, unified all the belts?
Do you know what Schrodinger's cat is? Do you ever hear that?
Well,
no. Well, real quick, Ness. But this is what I was getting to the point with saying is Schrodinger's cat is that Deontay Wilder. Okay, so Schrodinger's cat. Real quick, physics lessons. All right. Basically, they're saying there's a cat in a box, essentially saying that until you open the box, the cat is either alive or dead. All right. There's other shit that goes into it, or both. So what I'm saying is, when I said it comes to Deontay Wilder, until you open that box, he is both the greatest heavyweight champion of all time and the biggest hype job of all time, because we really still don't know about him. So
that's a good analogy.
Thank you. Well, what I'm saying is, when he gets in there with Bermain Stavern, we'll sure as fuck know whether he's the goods or not. If he gets iced out, then we'll know that he's a little bit hyped. So, but there is a kind of a gray area where he could kind of be middle of the road. I think his power is real, and let's be real. In the heavyweight division, everyone has power, but I think he has a little bit more than everyone.
Yes.
So everyone's chin in the heavyweight division is a little bit suspect because these dudes are 250 pounds knocking each other in the face. We can't imagine the amount of force coming across their face. Everyone on this panel would go to sleep tonight with a Deontay Wilder right hook.
Oh,
so what I'm saying is,
I'm
252. I'm 250 in New York. I understand.
I reserve the right as a welterweight to shut my mouth and then say I'd get iced quick.
I admit Deontay Wilder could sneeze on me and I'm out.
I'm a 210 pounder, and he could land a Charlie Z jab on me and put me out.
We'd all go to sleep on Thursday, wake up on Tuesday.
I think Pacquiao can knock me out right now.
I'm not laying down for no man. I'm 250, and I could take a punch from a heavy.
Ness, I love you, brother. I'm telling you. Deontay Wilder night-nights you.
Of course. I'm fucking around. Deontay Wilder ices me in like 0 seconds. 803, I hope that we answered your question on that. We're just as confused as you are, is basically the gist of that. 347, you're up next. Who's this? Where you calling from? 347. Go on once.
Hello?
Yes, 347, you're live.
Yeah. I was calling about that kid Fonfara who fought Stevenson yesterday.
Fonfara. Talk to us.
Yeah. Don't you notice this kid might be on some steroids or something? Because, if you look at his box rec, he only had 3 knockouts in his first 12 fights.
Well,
and
listen,
now all of a sudden,
caller, I'll just tell you, he has tested positive like 3 times in the past.
For steroids?
Yeah.
One of them was a diet. Oh, I think one of them was a diet supplement though. I think it was diuretics.
All right, I rephrased that. He has tested positive for banned substances in the past.
My bad. I didn't mean to be picky.
If you don't test 365, everyone is suspect.
That's true.
Yeah, caller, I hope that answers your question. You got another question instead, since we already banged that one out. ASAP status. Woo.
Yeah. So do you think Mayweather is going to fight Pacquiao anytime soon or not?
Yo, is hell gonna freeze over? No.
I don't know if you know, man. Last week, Manny Pacquiao signed a 2-year extension with Top Rank that includes 5 fights with Top Rank. And Mayweather doesn't like Bob Arum that much, so I doubt that they're going to do any business. But I, like you, am still hoping out that maybe it does happen.
I hope so.
It's through 2016, and essentially Mayweather will have already been retired by then, so there's not even any hope for them to come to the table once more after the deals are over on both sides. But again, like Ness said, and like you want, I mean, we just pray to God that people just come to their right minds and make good business that makes the fans happy one day.
And I will say to the guy that reviewed us like 2 stars for the audio quality, please give Mario a round of applause. How everyone has their mic, so go ahead and change that review on iTunes and make sure that we got all 5 reviews, because you can absolutely change your review. Just go back in, write a review. It allows you the opportunity to change. So
I love when he does that.
That's awesome.
I love when he does that.
iTunes allows you to flip flop like I do.
I used to say the hell with iTunes, but Ness convinced me, and I've opened my eyes and I've changed my ways. iTunes is very important.
Yo, I was on drugs a few weeks ago thinking I was going to get rid of my iPhone for an Android, but fuck that.
201, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me.
Sev, bro, what's up, man?
Sev, were you happy? Were you happy yesterday? Because I know you didn't like that card.
To be honest with you, it was I was like I didn't get a chance to watch it. I'm just being real. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Stuff like that normally doesn't happen to me, but tonight, last night was just one of those nights where I just didn't get to watch the boxing because I had some other obligations. But I just want to talk about something that you guys were talking about on the last podcast. And before I actually start talking about it, I want to mention something that James brought up a few podcasts ago when he said that Mayweather lives paycheck to paycheck. Well, that's 100% true. He lives the kind of lifestyle that he lives. In order to maintain that he needs that kind of cash, and so he's definitely doing that because he's an idiot, and that's what he's doing. So anyway.
Wait a minute. Let's just end that with that's your opinion, because no one's his accountant,
Right. Yeah. This is just my opinion. And Manny Pacquiao. The reason why you guys were talking about when Wood called why Manny Pacquiao signed the extension with Top Rank. Well, the reason why, and again, this is my opinion, the reason why Manny Pacquiao signed his extension to Top Rank is because in reality, he doesn't really have a choice. This guy, I think what happens is Bob Arum gives Manny Pacquiao advances before his fights. And Manny Pacquiao just goes through that money. Because, let's face it, man, he's not the most educated person. He comes from poverty. He doesn't really know the value of money. And he just really became rich at once, kind of. And Bob Arum, he's constantly in debt. He's constantly in debt to Arum. So he's forced to sign that extension to pay off his debt with Arum because he's constantly in debt. He's constantly borrowing money from Arum. That's what I think.
Yo, if I could kind of interject real quick, Seth. When we interviewed Ryan Moore, the director, he gave us a lot of insight about what Manny Pacquiao is doing with his money. And it's not just blowing it on women and his entourage. He's doing a lot of good with it. So, I mean, as much as I like to say that I think he's living paycheck to paycheck, I must say I commend him for not forgetting where he came from. And there needs to be something to be said. As long as everything that he said was true, about paying people's medical bills and just running by and dropping off medical bills on the doorstep. I mean, you gotta be. It takes a special person in this world to fight in boxing in general. But to give the money in which you put your hard-earned work on, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your body and life on the line to other people that you don't know, there's got to be something to be said for that. So I know you're not bringing it up negatively. I just want to say, shout out to Manny Pacquiao. He's not listening, but I mean, I really respect him for doing what he does in this world.
But Sev makes a good point, because regardless of the good he does, Mayweather does good too. I mean, we saw back on HBO when they were doing, following him. He had brought all those turkeys for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it was. I mean, he does a lot of good with his money too. It's the exponential part of it, the spending and the entourage and that stuff, and it is commendable. All of them are commendable, and especially Manny Pacquiao. He's a humanitarian, but I see where Sev is coming from, because a lot of this stuff that they do on the other side of charity, that away from that aspect, seems a little it just seems a little too much at times. I mean, when he flies all these people in, he does all this other stuff, and I mean, let's also talk about the fact that he had to come out publicly and talk about the vices being a problem, the gambling and all that stuff. I mean, how much money did he lose at that point to where it's like that became a problem? We see a lot of people gamble that don't have to come out and say, "Oh, I lost a fight. It was because of gambling." I mean, I think there was a real problem there. It had to have been for him to come out and make some sort of public declaration, which I really hope to God that he wasn't using that as some sort of PR stunt. That would have just been horrific. And I think Manny Pacquiao is a genuinely good person. I don't think he would have trivialized alcohol abuse and gambling problems like that if it wasn't true. So, I mean, I see what Sev's talking about. He could change his ways at this point, but flying by the seat of his pants for this long, he's put himself in a precarious situation, to say the least.
But not only that, people say, well, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Because why should you make your business decision based off of one fight? Tim Bradley said the same thing. If Bob Arum is going to give you a guaranteed contract with guaranteed minimum purses, I'm not saying that he did this. I suspect he did. Because if he gave Bradley a deal like that, why wouldn't he give Pacquiao a similar deal?
Great point.
So, I mean, what would Golden Boy have offered Pacquiao? And not only that, if Pacquiao's a free agent, it just takes a lot of energy and it's a lot of work trying to, work both sides of the coin. Whereas if Arum's just giving you saying I'm going to give you, 4 fights, I'm going to give you this, and this for each fight, and it's all set. Don't worry about it. Then, I mean, what's he going to do? Because he could not sign with Bob Arum in the hopes he's going to get the Mayweather fight. And just like Bradley says, you don't get the Mayweather fight, then where do you end up? So I'm sure that Bob realizes that, he doesn't have many stars left, and he needed to hold on to Manny Pacquiao, so I'm sure he gave him a substantial amount of money to stay or to re-sign. That's just my opinion. I don't have any factual evidence, but I'm just, basing it off how I feel about the situation.
Let's let Sev finish up his
And
quote. Sev, you there?
can I say, yeah. I just want to say a few more things. Ringside Rival, I just heard he was saying, oh, Showtime is going to run HBO out of business or whatever, and they're taking over. Man, there's no proof of that, and that's such bullshit, because last year, I believe both networks had an excellent year. And to be honest with you, if I had to pick the most memorable fight of last year, it was probably from HBO. But both networks had an excellent year last year. And then this year, they're both having pretty bad ones, but I have to give the edge to HBO because they actually have some quality matchups on regular HBO and not on pay-per-view, such as Marquez and Alvarado and Chavez and Vera. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says that, and that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I think you're right, Sev. I think that if you want to really break it down figuratively, yeah, HBO is still doing well. But I just think because of the situation right now, like I said, Mikey Garcia, Chavez Jr., Andre Ward, those are 3 guys that are tied up right now. So, and then also losing Adonis Stevenson. They're still in a good position, but Showtime is starting to gain ground on them. And at the current state right now, they have a good month coming up in terms of scheduling. But after that, I don't see much down the road. Now, if Showtime throws together a Deontay Wilder, Bermain Stavern fight, they give Danny Garcia another good fight, maybe Adrian Broner fights again, and also Floyd Mayweather with the pay-per-view. I just think that they're going to have a lot of buzz going on towards the end of the year, where I think HBO is not going to have a good end of the year. I could be wrong, but the way it looks right now, it just doesn't seem like it's playing out favorably for HBO at the present moment under these circumstances.
But
Hold on, Sev. Hold on, Sev.
It all depends.
Sev, hold on. Let Robbie rebuttal. I got him on.
Okay, no, and Beav made my points for me. I think overall, I think Showtime is in the better position to put the cards together. HBO, if they can keep going on their path, yes, June looks good for them. I applaud them for what they're doing on Saturday, putting the Groves Froch fight on. We didn't get to see the first one. I'm glad we're going to be able to see the second one. But after June, what is HBO's future? Because Chavez did not accept the Golovkin fight. He's not going to be fighting anybody. He's in contract dispute. You've got Ward in contract dispute. You've got Garcia suing to try to get out of his contract. That does not look good for HBO fighters if they're trying to get out of their deals to go over to Showtime. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's what it looks like.
Looks like Garcia's trying to do that, and it looks like Ward's trying to do that.
You know what the thing is? This is all a what if. We got to see how it plays out. We don't know if Danny Garcia is going to be in another good matchup or if he's just going to take another tune-up to finish out 140 with a bang. We don't know if Adrian Broner is going to be in another competitive matchup before the end of the year. We don't know. Play that soundbite. We don't fucking know. So, but as of right now, there's no way in hell someone can tell me that Showtime has taken over or anything like that. Yeah, maybe they're in a better position than they were before, and because they signed Mayweather and all that. And that brings me to my next point. The fact that they give Mayweather a really high guarantee like that, that kind of sucks the life out of the rest of their programs on free Showtime, because now they can only afford to pay for tune-up fights. They can no longer have two quality fighters in against each other because it's too expensive for them to pay. So because they have to save all that money for Mayweather. So these are things you have to think about. So we'll see. But as of right now, HBO still has the upper hand, and last year they both had an excellent year.
Well, again, that's you assuming that they can't afford for good fights because
I don't think they care that they're losing money. They just want to beat HBO. They want to say, hey, we're the better boxing program. We're putting on the better fights. And CBS is helping them out too. So I don't think it's in terms of a business sense. They're cutting their losses. I'm just, and again, my opinion, I don't really think they care. I just think they want to be the ones to say, hey, we're putting on better fights than you. We have a better boxing program than you. And they're investing in the future. They're investing in the future because then if they, make themselves known as a better network, then other fighters will want to fight for Al Heyman or whatever and be on Showtime in the future. So they're laying the groundwork to overtake HBO
Excellent
in the future.
point.
Now again, HBO had a gigantic lead on them. Now the ground is getting so close that the gap is narrowing so much now. So it's not going to happen overnight, Sev, but it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not taking sides. I'm just going by what I'm seeing. I like both networks. I watch fights on both networks. I don't want one network to thrive over the other. I want them both to thrive because that way I can have great fights, more frequently, not just on Showtime, but on HBO as well. So I just think the long-term goals that Showtime has set, they seem more realistic, whereas HBO doesn't seem to be having any long-term goals because they're not investing in younger fighters like Showtime's doing. What's going to happen if Deontay Wilder wins the title? WBC title? I mean, he's going to blow up. He's well-spoken. He's got a great personality. He looks good. Former Olympian. People like him. I mean, and you got Canelo, Lara, and Canelo could potentially be the next De La Hoya. Look at the future. It looks really good for Showtime. HBO, I don't know.
Beeb, I just want to segue into something that you brought up numerous times, and some callers, you guys kept mentioning Andre Ward. And thing is, for Andre Ward, he's still with the promotional riff, and this time it's going to prolong his activity for the entire 2014 and possibly beyond that. He told Ring Magazine that he is he has a great desire to settle, make a settlement or some sort of buyout deal with this promoter Dan Goossum, given in their ongoing litigations. He admittedly said that the situation could keep him out the ring for all that time. I don't see his way of thinking. Does he really think that he can do a 2-year layoff like Mayweather and come back and everything is good?
I pray to God that that is not what his intentions are. At the end of the day, Andre Ward still has a lot to prove to hardcores. Not in the sense of his boxing ability. We all know where he's at now. Okay, to me, after the Super 6, it was cemented what kind of fighter Andre Ward is and will be. But now it's not so sure, because it's not just enough to have the ability of a champion. You have to have the heart of a champion. You have to want to get in there and compete and do the thing you love. How could you be away from that for so long? Look, I love writing. And you know what? No, I'm not even going to use writing. I'm going to use baseball. I loved baseball growing up. I played baseball high school, a little bit in college. I could never go more than one day without playing baseball. If it rained, I paid somebody with an indoor cage so I could just practice. That's it. To me, Andre Ward, and I'm not even going to pretend like that's a fair comparison, but to me, Andre Ward is, has gotten so invested in his place from a financial and lucrative aspect that it is completely blinding him from what needs to be done inside the ring. James, am I right or wrong?
No, man, you're definitely right, brother. I mean, I think that I don't want to say his cockiness, or I guess I'm gonna be outright. I'm gonna keep it 100. I think his cockiness is thinking that he's gonna be able to fucking do all this dumb shit and still be able to stay in the limelight when he wasn't even there to begin with. I think he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the top of that division, but I think his head is a little too far up his ass to realize where the sun is. And it's like, I like fighters, even Deontay Wilder, that, you want to get in there and you want to fight, maybe not the best in the world. You're still fighting because that's what we like. We like fighters. We don't like sitters.
Excellent.
And that's what he's doing.
Excellent.
He's sitting around doing nothing. Yeah, you showed me a lot in the past, but you know how many times people have shown me a lot in the past, and then a few years later I don't give a shit about you? Happens all the time. Boxing is a what have you done for me lately? And what have Andre Ward done for me lately? Shown that he could go to litigation and lose. So it's like, to me, get in there, shut up, do your fucking job. I understand. I 100% understand. It's your life on the line. You want to get the money that you're paid. Maybe you don't feel like you're getting what your just deserve is. But guess what? We're the ones that pay the money for the HBO subscription. You're screwing over the fans. You're not screwing over the promoters by not fighting. I don't think Andre Ward's as boring as people think he is. I actually like watching. Watching Andre Ward. I like to see him back in. I thought the Chad Dawson fight was great. I talked my parents into watching it. They watch a fight every blue moon. They watch a fight. My parents liked Chad Dawson versus Andre Ward, and let me tell you, that means a lot to me. So he needs to get in. Put up, shut up, stop doing what he's doing, stop trying to battle. You get paid more than I can ever get paid in a fucking year, no matter what I try to do in one fucking fight. So get in there, shut up, earn your keep. You want to get paid $1 million a fight? Prove to me you need $1 million a fight.
718, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Yeah, what up, Nash? Yo, this that nigga Rob, man. I'm chilling, man. What's going on, man?
This Rob from Bushwick?
Nah, from Queens and all that, man.
What up? Talk to me, baby.
Yeah, man, I want to touch on, man. Y'all, last week y'all said Pacquiao, he's running out of fighters over there in Top Rank to fight. So don't you think on Showtime, Mayweather's running out of fighters too? Because he can't fight Amir Khan, because of Ramadan, and I don't think he's going to fight Madonna because of the flop on the pay-per-view. So I just want y'all to touch on that and what you think about that.
Well, first thing I'll say, I don't know if the guys want to touch on anything after I say this, is I don't think he's running out of fighters. The problem is, does he make the right options? But Khan is an option, just not for September. But Porter's an option. Thurman's an option. If you want to stretch it, Garcia's an option. There's options on Showtime, whereas for Pacquiao, we just heard one of his options. Rios fights Chavez, and the winner, he gets Bradley and Alvarado. So that means that Pacquiao has the same options, which is Rios, Marquez, Alvarado. Like,
I think he'll fight Provodnikov next, Pacquiao. I think that's what's going to happen. I suspect that's going to be the next fight. If Provodnikov gets past Algieri, which a lot of people believe is going to happen. But I think the caller makes a good point. In the immediate future, though, I think Mayweather is going to have he's in a dilemma for September 3rd. Is it September 13th? Is the next date?
Yeah.
Because if he chooses not to fight Maidana, then who can he fight in the immediate? I don't think Danny will fight him in September, and
Thurman and Porter will fight him.
Yeah, but again, from a business standpoint, and I hate to say this, but that's how Showtime looks at it, and that's how he looks at it. Can they draw more than Maidana could?
Nope. And even Maidana at the time got past Broner, so that's exactly why he kind of got the shot. Because, Broner was a name. Still, even if he was unproven a name. So as much as I love Porter and as much as I love Thurman, those dudes are going to bring in worse numbers. You can't build that fight as much as you were able to build it with Maidana, where he at least had the Broner win coming off of it. If you don't do Khan, you got to do Maidana. And it's not going to be Canelo because Canelo fights in July, and it's going to give him exactly almost 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get it. Is that he'd have to turn around and immediately get back in there, and that's the only other option. I think he takes Maidana rematch because not only does it make sense financially because of, casuals now, not even casuals. People that I don't even know that watch boxing hit me up and go, I heard Mayweather got his ass beat by this dude. Is that true? And then I have to kind of break it down for them because that kind of that allure and that's I guess I don't want to say stigma, but I want to say I guess that perception is out there that Mayweather kind of looked rusty. I think in the next time out, I guess what I'm trying to say is that he'll draw higher numbers and financially, it's the only fight that makes sense is getting back in there with Maidana. If there's one thing we know about Mayweather is finances comes just as much, if not more important, than who he's fighting in the ring.
And I think the rematch could probably do $1 million or a little bit over that because of the intrigue of the competitiveness of the first fight. I think that helped out a lot.
Yep. But I thought the same shit about Pacquiao Mayweather or Bradley Mayweather or Pacquiao, and I was wrong as shit on that. So.
503, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, guys? This Josue from Aloha, Oregon.
What's up, brother?
Hey, so I wanted to bring something up to you guys. I've been, watching these fights. I watched the fight with Adonis Stevenson and everything. I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but sometimes I think of boxing like, there's one thing I want to know is that why do promoters always try to back up, try to do every fight's usually for the casual fan, they always want the casual fans, why don't they try to impress the hardcores, you know what I mean, why is it always about the casual fan?
Because the casual fan outnumbers the hardcore fan 5-1, unfortunately.
Simple as that.
Well, I don't know, I don't get it, I'm paying these damn subscriptions. I'm paying for Showtime and HBO, and the reason I do that, I don't do it because of the movies or the shows. I do it because of the boxing, and I ain't getting shit, man. So, and I don't know. I don't know, man. That's
you're gonna see. You're gonna get the answer to your question when the Lara Canelo pay-per-view numbers come out. And Mayweather-Maidana pay-per-view numbers come out, you're going to get that answer because in the minds of hardcores, Lara Canelo is the fight. I would say it's easily in the top 5 of fights that can be made between hardcores, the fights that they want, and yet you're going to see a huge discrepancy in numbers. You're going to see a huge discrepancy in numbers, and that discrepancy is going to be the casual fans' lack of interest in the fight, and just their place that is missing. That's where the 700,000, 800,000 other buys come from, is the casual fans. So they're going to gear the sport towards them, and every once in a while, like Lara Canelo, you're going to see them cater to us, and then every other once in a while you're going to see them cater to us even more with like a Lomachenko and Gary Russell. There's no casual fan that cares about that fight, but I'm not going to miss that fight, and neither are you, and neither is anyone else on this panel or anyone who's listening, because we know what that fight means, what it represents, even though it's not huge. And then every once in a while, it's very rare, but the casual fans' interests and the hardcore fans' interests align. That is what Cotto Martinez represents. The casual fans' interests, the hardcore fans' interests, and they kind of align together, make a great fight that we all want to see. But 9 times out of 10, they're looking to sell that casual fan as much as they can, and they're gonna buy more bull. They don't know the difference between titles and alphabet belts, and they don't frankly probably even care. To them, they hear champion, they think that means champion, like that means the Seattle Seahawks are champions, but it's not. That's not what it represents in boxing. We know that. They don't. They sell them the bull because they'll buy it.
That's a good
We're
point.
live with Wood the God. What's going on, Wood?
Yeah, man. There's a whole lot of bullshit in boxing, man.
Wood, we need you to talk into the microphone, Wood.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of bullshit. There's a whole lot of bullshit in boxing, man. It's because if motherfuckers like to talk about. I think these new fans. I know a lot of motherfuckers are very emotional, and the business people that's in boxing, they using these boxing fans' emotions to put on bullshit and fights. These niggas so emotionally attached to these idol worshipers. They worshiping idols and shit, because these boxers ain't about shit. The main reason why you watching boxing is to see a good fucking fight. I don't care if the nigga he's 101, he's 205. Who at the end of the day, who really give a fuck about their records and their legacies and all that shit? I don't really give a fuck about all that. These niggas need to be fighting. The best need to fight the best, and that's when you attract. That's when your name start getting big, and you attract more eyeballs to it. Like, I'm gonna give you an example, like Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. These two motherfuckers. They got even more famous for not fighting than fucking fighting. Because if you look at Floyd numbers by itself, he might average probably 1 million or something. Pacquiao was almost like the same way. But if you put these two motherfuckers together, they might can sell 3 million pay-per-views. Who fucking knows? Like Canelo. Canelo, he fought Angulo, 2 Mexican motherfuckers. Why did all the Mexicans didn't buy that fucking fight? Why all the Mexicans didn't buy that fucking fight? They sold like 400,000. But you put this nigga with Mayweather next fight, Willie sold 1 million. But you put these two motherfuckers together, they breaking records. That's the only thing I'm trying to get these dumbass fans to realize is we should be pushing for the best to fight the best. And that's when everything. That's when it comes together. That's when we sit back and we enjoy these fights. It's like an event, But these motherfuckers refusing to fight each other, and they fans still love them. Then they shit gonna get worse. You understand what I'm saying, man?
I understand, man. You're right, though. You're exactly right.
Be pushing for these motherfuckers to fight each other instead of trying to justify shit for them, so they can not fight each other, because that's all they do is look at whoever following their account and all this type of dumb shit. Then they be like, man, these motherfuckers don't care. We'll go to the next one. But they know if the fans would say, fuck it, I want to see that fucking fight, and say, fuck it, we ain't watching this shit until he fight him. Them motherfuckers won't have no other choice if they want to make a living but to go in there and fight. They won't have no other choice but to fight. That's when look when Shane Mosley ran up in the ring and confronted Floyd, all his fucking fans and shit, all the people that like him, whether they want to see this motherfucker win or lose. All those people was there, and the people was watching when he fought Martinez. When Shane approached him and he felt like, oh man, I'm not fighting Pacquiao. I know I'm not fighting Pacquiao, but now this nigga gonna jump up in the ring and say he wanna fight. And then if I pick somebody else, I would look like a straight bitch. Then he fought him. The same way with Lara and Canelo. He came up there and confronted him, and then he probably thought every way he could to say they're not gonna take that fight. They're not gonna take that fucking fight. and they probably tried everything they could not to take the fight. But when the fans stepped in and started saying shit, then he said, "Fuck it, man. I gotta fight him. I gotta fight him." So if we have the access to the computers and all that type of shit, but we not using it like we supposed to be using it. We supposed to be using it to put pressures on these whores. We supposed to be putting pressure on these whores. But these motherfucking emotional ass fans, they get to idolizing a motherfucking boxer, and he can't do no fucking wrong. Everybody do wrong, man. You can't just be putting these niggas on a fucking pedestal, man. We can't. I don't put nobody. I don't care if you're a preacher. I don't care what the fuck you are. If you fucked up, you fucked up. I'ma call it the way I fucking see it.
Hey,
That's
boy,
all,
I'm gonna go to some other callers here, man. Thanks for calling in, but you already know, man. That's how we all feel. We just don't know how to push. I mean, pretty much everyone has tried to push for this fight. Definitely going into the media. Both Pacquiao and Mayweather took to the media. That just made things worse. 516, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
What's good? This is KH from Long Beach, New York, man. Yo, have you heard anything going on with King Thurman for the back half of this year?
Not yet, brother. Not yet. Our guess is as good as yours, but I'm sure things is gonna pick up for Thurman because a lot of guys are free.
Because, like, you know what I mean? We got a guy coming on fight off of last year. Exciting fighter, great on the mic. I don't know anybody who don't like him. I had casuals at my house all last year watching him, liking him. They keep asking what's up with that Thurman guy. They see one fight already in 6 months of this year against the washed-up Diaz. You know what I mean? Like, they have a chance to really push this guy. You know, what's the point of signing all these fighters and all these guys in the weight classes if we're not getting good fights? You know what I mean? Showtime got this division locked. They got all this young talent. And what are we getting? Alexander Carras, the ghost versus some dude that nobody ever heard of? Like, what's going on?
Hey, man, we're just as upset as you. I really have my fingers crossed, hoping that things will shape up towards the end of the year. I could be wrong. So far, the egg is on my face with this Guerrero, some dude we never heard of fight. But you know, what can we say? 631, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Steve, you got a lot of background noise, babe.
Well, my fault.
631, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
This is my first time calling, but I wanted to talk about the Adonis Stevenson versus Fonfara fight.
Go for it, brother.
I think Adonis Stevenson did a good job up until he got knocked out, and you could tell he was in trouble because you could hear his corner telling him things, and it just didn't look like he was listening. And a lot of people were saying that he got exposed, but I look at it in a different way because, like, this isn't about Adonis Stevenson getting exposed because he already has a loss. And this was about him proving how much of a champion he really is. Because with Sergey Kovalev, he's all about aggression and he has good boxing skill, but what happens when he gets knocked down? Like, does he get back up or does he stay knocked down for good?
That's a fair point.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a big reason why Adonis Stevenson would win if he were to fight Kovalev.
That's a fair assessment, man. I agree. We haven't seen certain things from Kovalev, and it's easy to look at somebody who has a highlight reel for a career in Kovalev, and not take anything away from Stevenson because so does he. But you're right. I mean, there's adversity there. There are traits that make a champion, and I'll put it this way: there are traits that make a champion, and we've seen those traits clearly from Stevenson. Some of those traits we have not yet seen from Kovalev because we haven't had the opportunity. Doesn't mean they're not there, but haven't seen them.
I mean, 631. I'm sorry, you got something else? I'm sorry, brother. Go for it.
Yeah, I just had a question. Like, I heard that a possible Keith Thurman versus Maidana fight was going to be made. I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
Well, I did see that on BoxRec. Then BoxRec took it off. I guess Maidana. I've heard rumors that Maidana's saying he won't fight again if it's not Floyd or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's
heard
what
that.
Robert Garcia said, right?
Yeah, Robert Garcia said it.
Yeah, because that's the fight that I would be interested in, because it would show that Thurman can take a punch and that he really is the big bad wolf of the welterweight division.
So if Maidana fights Thurman, who would you pay for in September on pay-per-view to see Mayweather? Or against Mayweather?
I don't know. I think that both Keith Thurman and Sean Porter should fight each other, and then the winner should fight with Mayweather. I think someone else should get a shot.
I agree.
I don't really know.
631. Thanks for calling in, brother. We got to move on to some other callers, man. But I definitely agree that Porter is the next one.
As do I.
Not necessarily becomes a star, but at least has the credibility.
Definitely.
I guess if you wanted to squeeze anybody in there without doing anything extra, Porter, based on what he's done so far, to me, is more than what Thurman has done. Ken, you're live, brother. What's going on? Tell everybody where you're calling from.
Calling from the Bronx, New York.
So
I just want to touch on a topic. Every time we get on these calls, everybody's always talking about casual versus hardcore fans and how the hardcore fans are ignored. And I just think, like, we don't give ourselves enough credit. I mean, that's a lot of purchasing power that we have. I know it's been years that I've paid for Showtime and HBO just because I need to have my boxing programming. And I could always find another way to get at these other shows, but I want to watch a live sporting event. I don't want it afterwards or to stream it. And we keep saying, oh, well, they don't listen to us and this and that. And we're basically, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you really think about how boxing even works with the casual fans, it's usually because people like us get together, we throw a party at our houses, or we go to a party, and we get the casual fans excited to watch a fight. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even care or watch it, I think. So why do we keep coming into these conversations and pretty much go into the table, you know, with networks and stuff, acting like we have no power? You know, if you think about all those subscriptions, add up all those dollars and how much they contribute to the HBO subscription, Showtime subscription bottom line, we have to be taken seriously. I just don't get that thinking, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, but I think of it this way. Say you had a bunch of kids wanting to, you know, they were screaming and yelling that they wanted Chipotle. If you felt like Mexican food that night, yeah, maybe you'd want to go with Chipotle. But I feel like we may tilt the ball either way if they were kind of on the fence, because we got it with Danny Garcia and Lucas Matisse, where we barraged Twitter. We kind of we stood up and said, this is the fight that we want. We got what we were talking about. But if I had to guess, in the eyes of a network executive, what we want and what they think the casual fan would eat and what they would take is bigger than what they think that we can actually provide. Well, I 100% agree with you. I think that we do have a large chunk of it, and we do have a say in it, but we're kind of like the people on the outside of the electoral college, where the people, the casual fans, they're the ones that the network executives listen to. They listen to us in the sense that they get ideas from us, or they want to see what we want. But if they always listen to us, and if our opinion was as heartfelt or as impactful as we think it is, we'd have a lot of great fights right now. But unfortunately, that's just not the case.
Yeah, you know, I just don't see the public outcry for Porter Thurman. It's nowhere as loud, the cries for Stevenson and Kovalev, or as they were for Garcia and McKeith, or as they were and are for Lara, Canelo. Like, no one's like, people barely call in here talking about Porter Thurman. I mean, maybe if we made it the topic of the show and tweeted it out, but no one's calling in like, oh man, go. We just listen. Thurman just beat whoever the fuck he beat Diaz. Porter just did things that really impressed us. Now we're starting to have his name in our mouth. I'm generalizing, putting all of us together, but we in the Boxing Voice have been featuring Porter on this show since he was, you know, doing draws when you guys thought he was a bum. Now, how the times have changed. 313, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
This is Rollo Jenkins. What's up, fellas?
Rollo, what up? B, back up a little,
Hey, man.
my friend. You're breathing. With every breathe, we hear it like a thunderstorm over
I'm sure all the listeners needed to hear that, and we could have talked about that off air, but that could have been a text message.
I think that the casual fan talk is some bullshit. You know, like in all sports, you only have a handful of stars. In every sport, boxing is no different. So if one star is not fighting another star, the numbers are always going to be pretty similar. And as long as certain stars are still in the game until Mayweather and Pacquiao and these guys retire, they're always going to be the stars. And if they're not fighting each other, the numbers are always going to be similar to anybody else that they're fighting if they're not fighting another star. So if Mayweather ain't fighting Canelo or Pacquiao or Cotto, the numbers are always going to be right around that million, a little less. So it don't make a difference if it's Porter or Thurman or fucking Paulo Malignaggi, because the numbers going to be the same. So the only excuse he can use is the numbers won't be right. But it's all going to be the same, though, anyway. I think that's some bullshit that he came up with, and as an excuse to only fight certain types of fighters. And everybody else is starting to use that same excuse now, too.
Hey, man, I agree again. I don't know about my co-host. What do you think about what the caller said?
Fair points. Definitely fair points.
I mean, the last time we saw casual fans drive the pay-per-view numbers is clearly with Canelo and Floyd Mayweather, which took the casual fan and kind of perpetuated it. I mean, we got to remember, though, that a lot of – I mean, I guess I'm kind of confused on what the caller – kind of reiterate what your point is. Are you trying to say that you don't think the casual fan has impactful as we think it is?
In all sports, you only have a handful of stars. Let's say, for instance, in basketball right now, if the NBA could have their way, it would be LeBron James versus Kevin Durant, who is the reigning MVP, for their ratings boost, because those are the two biggest stars in the game. You could take any other team from the West and put them against Miami, and the number's going to be pretty, similar. Any other team from the West. Now, you could take any other team from the East and put them up against OKC, and it's going to be pretty much the same. But you put those two teams together, you have you'll get big ratings. The same thing with boxing. If you put Floyd Mayweather in with Pacquiao or Cotto or De La Hoya, you're going to get big numbers. You take any one of those other stars out of it, the numbers are going to be the same no matter who it is. He could fight me and do 800,000. So that he fighting Maidana because of the ratings or the amount of pay-per-view buys, or he won't fight Porter or he won't fight Thurman because the numbers won't do good, is some bullshit. Because no matter who he fights, if it ain't Pacquiao or it ain't Cotto, the numbers are going to be the same. Because, like y'all just said, casual fans don't drive the sport. It's the hardcore fans who tell the casual fans what to watch. Nobody's going to be looking for a Mayweather fight if nobody's telling the person who don't even watch boxing that the fight is going to be good.
That's an
We all
excellent
get calls
point.
when there's a fight coming up. We all get those calls. I
Yo,
heard Mayweather
that's-
fighting. Is it going to be a good one? They don't give a fuck who he's fighting unless they know who he's fighting. And that's only a few people that people know. And that's Pacquiao, Cotto, and maybe Canelo now. All those other people, it don't matter. So when they say he can't fight Thurman because nobody knows Thurman, that's some bullshit, because people don't know Thurman because he ain't been around long enough and he hasn't had the big fight for people to know him. And no matter who he fights and who he beats, and that goes the same thing for Porter and Maidana, nobody's going to know who these guys are. We were sitting in a crowded-ass venue, and all of these, nobody knew who the fuck Maidana was, and you could ask half of them people right now who the hell he is, and they still wouldn't know.
These are really good points, man.
You make an excellent fucking point. It's true. Man, I never looked at it that way, because you're right. Like, we're the one that give the stamp of approval to the casual fan. They always ask us, like, yo, who's Mayweather fighting? Oh, nah, that's Maidana, but he's going to beat him like always, right? And it's like, well, he can't get knocked out. Oh, who's Mayweather going to fight? It was Robert Guerrero. He's going to beat him, right? It's like, yeah, he should beat him, but Guerrero is going to keep coming forward. He's going to try. He's going to make it a fight. We are the one that give the stamp of approval. That's a fucking awesome point. Shout out to Rollo Jenkins, man. Great fucking call. 253, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 253, you're live. All right, we'll come back to you, brother. No problem, no sweat. We got a lot to talk about anyway. We got some other stuff here in the news. Man, Mlin is all fucked, man. I mean, first he was supposed to be on the undercard taking on Daniel Gil. Then that was supposed to be on the undercard of the Perez versus Jennings fight. That gets canceled because Perez allegedly gets hurt. Gil gets snatched up by K2, and he's on the Golovkin card. And Mlin opponent clearly is Gil, so he's got a fight, and Mlin doesn't get a fight. But HBO did offer Mlin a fight on the Crawford card where he wouldn't have had a training camp go to waste, and he's still, you know, relatively in shape and ready for a fight. He could have fought on this. It would have been less money because he was making, you know, 6 figures for the other fight with Gil, but he would have been making low 6 figures in this one. So fucking what? You find a dude named Matt Korobov. I don't even know this dude. He's probably good, probably isn't. I don't know. Never heard of him. But the point is, last time he was on HBO, you didn't look so fucking good to be making demands and bitching and moaning. This is the same dude that looked horrible versus Lamar Russ.
Yeah, Matthew Mlin needs to shut up and just fucking fight. We said it earlier in the show. I mean it even more when it comes to Matthew Mlin. You have no drawing power. Shut up. You got knocked out twice in your career. Every time you stepped up, then you struggled against a guy that was like 14-0. Shut up. Fight your fucking thing. When HBO comes a knocking, you don't close the door. Let's just put it that way.
I don't think he has the luxury of doing that because I don't think he's going to get too many phone calls.
No. So what he's doing right now, he's got someone chirping in his ear that is bigging him up a little bit more than maybe he should be.
And that's pretty surprising. I'm surprised that Lou DiBella couldn't kind of steer him in the right direction.
Well, DiBella, I know I got a quote here. They're actually feuding because Mlin is now upset with Lou DiBella over the situation. He has declared himself a free agent.
Oh my goodness!
DiBella said that he still has one more fight, and that Mlin certainly is not a free agent, but certainly believes that he is, given that he accepted the Gil fight. Somehow he feels like that's one of his contract fights without actually fighting. So the two are feuding. We'll see what's happening, but I mean, I don't understand. Fighters don't learn from history. Being in litigations is not a good thing at all. But
well,
get out of here. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I mean, they got to be held accountable for the contracts that they signed, and they really need to have representation to help them understand what they signed and really break it down and explain it to them, because it seems as though they go into litigation and they lose the case because they don't know what they actually signed or they don't understand what they actually signed. So that's the big problem here.
Yeah, it is, man. Usually ends up that way. They didn't know something. Even when they go to litigations, then they find out like, well, I guess I can't get out. I got to settle.
Everyone wants to hide behind that Muhammad Ali Act, but it's really not worth the paper that it's been written on, unfortunately.
Agree again. And listen, let's get to these notable fights.
Do the chat room roll call before you forget, too.
Well, we're a little early, so we could definitely knock it out now instead of waiting until the 10 o'clock mark when you can't get on. But remember, if you guys want to call in, 646-478-3068, press 1 if you want to talk. We got a few people in the chat room. Why not do it now? Adolf, Mayweather, always in there. You're alumni from now on, my friend. I christen you knighthood. Unfortunately, we get no Game of Thrones tonight. But yeah.
Wait, Ness, wait. No Game of Thrones tonight, bro?
No.
That's fucking bullshit.
HBO always does that. Whenever it's a holiday, they don't give it because they feel like we're all on vacation. They forget that half of us are all poor. But we got Alex Hand or Cabrera, Arigo, Beeb in there, Cedric Sports, Johnny Shatoa, Kute, Dave the Sinister. Deontay Wilder is a box of, I don't know, it doesn't finish. Lazy. That's a weird screen name. What do we got here? What do we got? A bunch of guests. International JT. Just like Carl Froch, International. Juggernaut 44, Cam, Killer Cam in the chat. Kevin Horn. Oh, he's in the chat. Shout out to Kevin Horns, always on Twitter. Kiba360, long time. That's definitely alumni. Kiba, shout out to you, man. You've been there with us from the very fucking beginning. switching from Blog Talk to Mixler back to Blog Talk. Shout out to you, man. We appreciate you. KM Star, Nota, and Nothing for Something, Ringleader X Dank, Slug, 1023, The One, 77, Wrath of Boxing, and Zed. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining our chat. We got a few new callers, but I do want to touch on these upcoming fights, man. We got a lot of boxing on Friday night. Well, actually, we'll start with Monday, because Monday night we're going to have Rocky Juarez somehow still fighting, guys. Still fighting. He's going to be taking on Rene Alvarado. I never heard of Rene Alvarado, but I've heard of Rocky Juarez, and he did win his last fight, that's for sure. Somebody that I have heard of is Keandre Gibson. He was on Showbox once or twice, and I think we might have had him on this show. He's going to be taking on a 6-rounder versus Carlos Villa, and I'm upset and disappointed that this is a 6-rounder. Maybe because it's at junior welterweight. Maybe Keandre's going to, I don't know. I could have sworn that we have had Keandre on the show and he's fought on Showbox. I could be wrong. Do you guys know anything about this Fox Sports 1 taking place tomorrow when we're all off, have all our time to set the DVRs to watch this?
Yeah, we're going to watch this tomorrow. You know, not huge names on this card, but these matchups look a little bit competitive. They could be interesting. You know, Rocky Juarez, we don't know, you know, what's going to happen with him because he's always in tough fights. He's never really dominated one in a long time. So I've seen Rene Alvarado a few times, but I don't know a ton about him. I've just seen a little bit here and there about him. I've heard about him, did a little research on him. But this fight should be somewhat interesting. I don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I know that I remember Keandre Gibson, but you know, a fight that I'm glad I got Apple TV for is Alexander Povetkin versus Emmanuel Char. Here's another heavyweight fight, and the heavyweights are back. They're back in the mix. I mean, we had Stavern Areola. We're gonna have Deontay Wilder. We had him versus Malik Scott. We had Latimer just fighting. They're fighting. They're here. They're not going away, guys. This is a pretty decent fight. And I only say decent because now we get to know what Manuel Char is. Like, we've seen him versus Klitschko, obviously not a good outing, but now he's versus a guy his height and his weight. And we'll see, is this guy just a bum, or is he the goods, or has some talent at least, and just was in a non-competitive fight with a Latimer because of the size, Beeb?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are both kind of not huge, tall heavyweights, and they have respectable skills. I kind of think Povetkin will probably take it, but you know, Manuel Char is still a decent fighter. He's not a world beater, but he's still a decent fighter. He should be somewhat of a test for Povetkin, but I think Povetkin will probably have a lot more success against the shorter Char, who's not as you know, fast and quick with his hands as the Klitschko's are, and not as precise with his punches. I think Povetkin will probably be able to get inside. He won't be wrapped up. So I think it's a good fight in terms of competitiveness. Not really a fight that the public's calling for, or it's not a significant fight, but it's a good kind of crossroads fight for both guys to get back in the mix.
I agree.
So no, you don't want to elaborate, James? Cool. We'll move on because this is what everyone needs to pay attention to. And if you have to rewind this part of the podcast, do so, because there's a lot of boxing taking place Saturday, and it may get tricky. So set your DVRs. Hopefully you have Comcast like me and Beeb, and we can DVR five at once.
Five?
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit. I'm writing my senator.
Ness, what kind of box do you have? Because you may even have a better box than I have.
I got the X1. I got the X1, and then I got the HD DVR.
I have the HD DVR, but you know what I don't have that I probably may want to invest in is that X1, because that X1 I heard is insane.
Well, I'll just tell you this. Do you have like a new, you know how HBO and Showtime have those graphic logos on their screen?
Yeah.
Do you have a new layout when you go into your Xfinity button? Do you have a new layout? Because I have like this awesome futuristic layout, and it, like, if you go into a series, you just press series info, all the episodes come out. Like, they give you so much, they overload.
Yeah, I have that, but I don't. Let me ask you this: did you pay extra for the X1 service?
Well, actually, you pay less because instead of having 2 DVRs, you get the X1 service, and whatever you record on the DVR, you can see on your X1, and you can still record from your X1, and it saves to your DVR, so it's throughout your house.
Yeah, so it's like one receiver. You can watch all the DVR material on any television in the house, is what you're saying.
Yep.
And on your mobile devices if you have the app.
Absolutely. I think that our listeners are going to think that we're getting some sort of sponsorship from Comcast, but we're not. We're just happy customers. Okay, so Saturday, May 31st, very important day, people. Very important day. I want to see at least 200 fucking happy birthday tweets for myself because that is officially my correct birthday. Everybody on Facebook thinks my birthday is in February.
I want a birth certificate though. I need a birth certificate for proof because I'm hearing a lot of different stories.
No, the thing is this: the Boxing Voice Facebook was started in February.
I know.
May 31st, the boxing gods have blessed me with a wonderful birthday. Thank you, everyone up there. Carl Froch versus George Groves is going to be May 31st. On HBO in London, but also on HBO Box Nation as well, I believe, right? Is it Box Nation or Sky Sports? Probably Sky Sports.
That one,
Sky Sports.
I think it's Sky Sports, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. So Carl Froch is going to be taking on George Groves. This is not our prediction show, so don't ask who we're going for till Thursday. James DeGale versus Brandon Gonzalez in an eliminator for the IBF super middleweight, which means they will be the mandatory for Froch or Groves winner. James McDonald versus some dude.
Jamie McDonald.
Yeah, I can't pronounce the other dude's name anyway. They're going for a vacant WBA regular bantam title. Kevin Mitchell's back in action, and he's going to be fighting Maduma for a 12-round IBF lightweight eliminator. So that's interesting because lightweight is 130. Kevin Mitchell is basically a victim in that division.
135.
Okay, 135. Well, that still makes him, kind of in no man's land because he can't beat any of the good guys at 135.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the division's a little weaker, but
I mean, you're not going to pick him versus Vasquez, are you?
Probably not. Well, probably not. No.
And you're not.
I don't know. I kind of like Kevin Mitchell. I think he's kind of a rough guy on the inside. I kind of like with the exception of that
Katsides?
that Burns fight too. I was a little surprised about that, but I don't know.
Yeah, and if he didn't take Burns' power, how could he take?
No, you're right. But I kind of like his style. I like how he fights. He's kind of an action guy. I just like how he kind of commits to his punches. He comes forward and he kind of gets in guys' chests and he makes a really tough fight of it. But you're probably right. Maybe I'm just going with the entertainment value of me appreciating what he does in there as opposed to the reality of the situation. You're right.
I even think Jorge Linares takes him to school.
Pay attention, fight fans. Again, if you have the Comcast system, use your Comcast app.
Yo, are you just driving the knife into my back?
No, James, because Saturday, listen, I'm not even doing this intentionally. I just don't want anyone to miss all this boxing. It's a lot. So type in the word boxing. This is how I do it. I type in the word boxing. I look for everything relevant on that day that I'm searching and those times. When you click on it, it gives you the info, tells you who's fighting. Because now next, after the Froch, Groves or before the Froch Groves, and this is why you have to search it yourself because it's not going to be put out on a platter for you. These things are going to be spread out through all HBO channels. So in Macau, China, we're going to have Vigneke taking on Donaire. Donaire's going to try and get another WBA featherweight title because he's scared to ask for a rematch. Did I say that? I'm sorry. Nicholas Waters, we're finally going to see him. He's going to be fighting Vic Darchinyan, which is a good fight. Islani Gravic is also back. He's going to be fighting Alexander, some dude I'm going to try. Mr. Kverchin. For Gradavic IBF featherweight title. Then you got Chris Avalos, who we was just talking about a few weeks ago. We thought he was gone. He's back, and he's an IBF junior featherweight eliminator as well. Then you got to search again because HBO 2 and HBO Latino. I sound like that dude. I know I'm going to sound really old right now, but Beeb will get me. Remember Crazy Eddie, Beeb?
Yes.
I sound like Crazy Eddie saying fights because it's just so many. It's crazy. You got fucking HBO Latino with Javier Fortuna. He's back in action. He's going to be taking on Juan Antonio Rodriguez in a 10-round junior lightweight bout. Javier Fortuna is a guy that owes us a bunch of fucking answers. I mean, looked so good in the beginning, sparked out Yandel Evans on ESPN, gets on a Pacquiao undercard versus fucking Patrick Hyland and looks like shit, and ever since then not been looking well. Luis Rosa, he's going to be taking on the guest we had on Thursday, Luis Orlandito de Valle, last time seen losing to Victor Archinian, but putting up a spirited effort in a 10-round junior featherweight fight. Then you got Sergio Mora. He's back. He's back. He's fucking back. He's back.
The Latin Snake? You're going crazy for the Latin Snake.
But he's back, and he's going to be fighting Samuel Rogers. And then, again, you got to search for boxing. Hopefully you got an Apple TV because Felix Sturm is back, and he's having his rematch with Sam Solomon. Remember the last time Solomon tested positive. And then, if that's not enough, cherry on the cake for all you boxing fans that like speed, in and out movement, and a slick talker, Hank fucking Lundy's also fighting versus Pepino Cuevas Jr. in a 10-round stay busy fight because he's due for a title shot. I don't know why, though. I mean, a lot of press releases they put it as like, oh, Hank Lundy's due a title. No, you just lost to Beltran and you beat Santana. You don't beat a prospect and get a title shot.
He lost to Postal, too.
Yeah, but he lost to Postal early in his career. What I'm saying is...
No, that wasn't too far off.
I mean, well, it wasn't... It wasn't
a couple years ago.
It was...
Yeah, well, it was like 2 years ago.
It was before the...
I thought it was a year. I thought it was a year ago.
No, it was after Molina.
Okay.
You sure it was after Molina?
I'm almost positive. I'll check it right now so we don't
double check it.
assholes.
All right. While you guys double check it, I'm going to take it out to the streets. We got a bunch of callers here. 917, New York City. Where you from? Where you calling? What's your name? Talk to me. 917.
Hello.
917. Hello.
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 You hear me?
I hear you.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Ness, right?
It is. Who's this?
This is Frank, man. First time caller. I want to say I love your show, man. It's good.
And I want to say I love you.
Oh.
Thanks, man. No, man, I just want to say this is a great show. I just got put onto this like last week. And I said, you know what? I was trying to find out when you guys come on live. And I happened to be scrolling around. I found you guys. I'm just catching like the first 20 minutes of it. So can I bring up any boxing topic?
You can absolutely do so. I just want to tell you, thank you for calling in and basically losing your virginity live on air. Thank you for being a new listener. Since you're only a week old, I'm sure you haven't gone to iTunes and rated us 5 stars, which is probably the best way. The biggest thank you can tell us is by rating us on iTunes. It's absolutely free. Please don't forget to do it. Do it from your girlfriend's phone too. And if you got 2 girlfriends, use both their phones. 3 reviews is always good. You could definitely talk about whatever you want. Go for it.
All right, man. I'll definitely do that on iTunes for sure. I just want to bring up the fight that's coming up on June 7th, Cotto versus Sergio Martinez. Now, in my opinion, I don't know, for some reason, I just feel like Sergio's going to kill him. But obviously, there's smart people around Cotto, I would think, especially him training with Freddie Roach. And I guess they probably see something where he's probably slowed down. In his last couple of fights, he was going down, even though he was winning a lot of them by knockouts. I'm just saying, what do you think of Cotto's chances against Sergio Martinez?
Well,
and also, just a comment, I think that Floyd should not fight Maidana again. I think if you look at history, you gotta be careful with guys that, I would love to see it, but you gotta be careful with guys that don't fear you at all. Come rematch time, for some reason, if you look at Roy Jones, Manny Pacquiao, recent history, they both got knocked out. Might happen to Floyd, and I'd love to see it, but if I was Floyd, I'd stay away from him.
Well, first of all, what's your name again?
Frank.
Frank, what was the first question? I'm sorry. You asked.
No, the first question was, I'm
sorry.
Wait,
I think I got it. You said, what did we think about which fight?
Cotto Martinez.
Sergio
Cotto
against
Martinez.
Cotto. I just think Cotto's going to get killed, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, and look, because you've only called in, I mean, because this is your first time calling, you've only been listening for a week, you don't know, and we have some really strong personalities here. I am the personality that feels that Cotto isn't and doesn't deserve as much credit as he got. I, like you, think that Martinez is going to demolish Cotto. And as far as what does Freddie Roach see in his corner and why they picked Martinez, they don't see shit because guess what? They didn't have that C&I glass when they picked Trout either, because Trout whooped that ass too. And if Trout whooped that ass at 154, and the biggest wins you had at 154 were Yuri Foreman and fucking Ricardo Mayorga, how the hell are you going to move up to 160 and take on the best dude there, whether or not his last fight he looked bad? So what? Every fighter has had a fight where they look bad. Cotto looked bad in the Margarito fight. Wait, he looked bad in the second Margarito fight. No, wait, he looked bad in the fucking Pacquiao fight too, right? I mean, everybody could look bad.
He didn't look bad in the Margarito 2 fight. Stop that shit. He looked good in that fight.
He got bruised up easily. I mean, it seemed like whenever he got hit, it just damaged his face.
That was like an allergy, I think.
An allergy?
The shellfish.
Allergy. Yeah, he's got allergies.
Shellfish juice on the glove. On my
The oldest trick in the book, Beeb. It's the oldest trick in the book.
I like Cotto, but I just think that this is a big mistake. I mean, this is a guy who's much taller than him, probably a little faster. We definitely know he hits harder.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say much harder, but I would say I'll give him the slight edge on power. I think Cotto's not that slow.
Cotto avoided this fight at 154 for a reason. He's taken this solely because he believes that Martinez isn't going to be 100%. But again, history, use history. Look at all Cotto fights. When has he ever been enough to beat a 75% Sergio Martinez?
That's what I'm saying. I can't. I just, I know he's trying. This is his second fight going in with Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach is a great trainer. Is it just the money that they took this fight? Because I can't see no logic. Maybe they know something with his knee or whatever.
It's not the money because he was offered more money for the Canelo fight. He was offered $10 million to fight Canelo. But I'll say this, and this is the first time that I've said it when speaking of this fight. I will say that if Cotto wins, I'd eat my crow the next day, Sunday show, live at 7 p.m., and I'd eat it happily because I know that Cotto Canelo would be so much bigger and better for the sport. Like, if Cotto Canelo could do a pay-per-view, it would drive basically not the same amount of publicity that it did for the sport where Canelo fought Mayweather, but it would be on that level. And Puerto Rican-Mexican rivalry is huge, and that could be huge for boxing. That whole setup could be huge. Maybe Martinez could pull it off. And somehow get a Canelo fight. That would be huge because I remember, Oscar telling me that he wants Sergio to fight Canelo. They wanted that.
Aram even said that he would throw Pacquiao in with the winner of this fight.
That's crazy.
It's been thrown around though. A lot of people think this fight's crazy, but I'm just saying. I heard Aram in an interview say that he would entertain the thought of putting Pacquiao in with the winner of this.
If it's Cotto, yes. If it's Martinez, no.
Well, he said he would have it at 155 pound catch weight if it was Martinez.
Frank, I want to thank you again for calling in, brother. I muted you. You can still listen in. I got to take some other callers before we get out of here. We got 8 minutes of live show, so you guys, if you're on a computer and you want to keep listening in, 646-478-3068. You want to talk to Beeb because he's the best looking, press number 1. 702, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 707, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 707, you're live. Going once. Going twice. 111111, you're live. Talk to us. What's up, 11? Talk to us.
Hey, what's good, Nash?
What's up?
Hey, man, this is your boy Creamer. Of course, my phone number always says 11111 because I'm calling from a military government phone at an undisclosed location.
All right.
But that's my bad.
Which association are you with? Army, Navy? What are you?
Can I say that on
Al Qaeda killer? You're an Al Qaeda killer. You don't want to say it?
You got to be proud of your service. I was in the Army. I'm proud of it.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm definitely proud of my service, but I don't want to put too much info out there because I'm calling at work.
Okay.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Talk some boxing with us. Talk some boxing.
So yeah, man. As far as the last night's fights go on Showtime, what do you guys think of the next opponent for Stevenson? As far as I'm pretty sure they're gonna push Bernard Hopkins on him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. Just real quick, I just wanted answers from all you guys. Who do you guys think would win that fight and why? Just briefly.
I favor Stevenson right now, only because I think that I think that he'll give issues to kind of Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins, he likes to be in control of the fight. The moment that he's not, you kind of see him a little bit. You kind of see him not really play the game that he likes to play. He kind of likes to flip over the chessboard and just kind of say, I don't know. I think it's almost Chad Dawson, but a little less, because I think Chad Dawson's gonna, I think, beat him a little bit better than what I think Stevenson's going to. But I think Stevenson's power is more than Chad Dawson, so you're gonna see Bernard Hopkins not want to come in and exchange nearly as much as he has, even with what's his name, Baber Chuvinov. We've seen Bernard Hopkins kind of start. I'm not going to use the Floyd Mayweather excuse, but say he exchanges a little bit more for the fans, or he comes inside. Maybe it's because he's slowing down a little bit more, but I think that's going to cause him to go on the outside, which is going to play into Adonis Stevenson's match, because I think Adonis Stevenson is someone that if you're going to beat him, you need to kind of push him into a direction that he doesn't like going in, and I think it's going to be the other way. I think that's going to Bernard Hopkins being pushed into a direction that he doesn't like going in, and I think that's going to favor Stevenson, so that's, I guess, where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I like Stevenson too, and I think this is the first time in a while, I can't even remember how long ago it was, that Hopkins is going to be in there with the guy who is highly skilled as well as very athletic and has power and speed to go along with that, and who is a very good counterpuncher like himself. So I just think that Stevenson is going to have a good chance of winning this fight, and I'm going to go with him because I think Hopkins doesn't bring that pressure and that volume that could trouble Stevenson that a Kovalev would bring, that I think would be a difficult fight as well for Stevenson, but I still think he'd win that one too. But I just think that this is a tough style for Hopkins, and I think that the speed and power and just the counterpunching ability will have Stevenson having an advantage in this fight over Hopkins. So I'm going to go with Stevenson.
I agree with you guys. I picked Dawson to beat B-Hop, and he did, and I give him both wins. And I think that a disciplined boxer would always beat B-Hop, but you got to be disciplined and you got to be physically strong. And Chad Dawson came in with that mental strength that time. He sort of like what Antonio Tarver did to Roy Jones, like what excuses you got today? Like they already knew they were going to win before they won the fight. And that is what did it. Last caller of the night, I believe, 646, another New York caller. What's going on, brother? Where you calling from? What's your name? 646, you're live?
You talking to me, Ness?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know you put me on the queue. No, a couple of weeks ago, I remember, this is Jay Nice, by the way.
Oh, what's up, Jay Nice?
A couple of weeks chilling, bro. I haven't been calling because I've been caught up with school and finals, but I've been catching you guys on the podcast. But a couple of weeks ago, I remember I asked you, and you said you were going to the Martinez fight. But then, like a week or two ago, in the podcast, I heard you saying that tickets sold out and you wasn't going to be able to go.
Yeah, no. But that was my backup plan because James is coming and Matt are coming from different states. So that my backup plan was to go with a ticket. But I'm approved to the fight, so I'll be there covering it for you guys, and I'm sure to bring home a shitload of footage.
All right, no, because I was gonna say I had an extra ticket, so that's why I was gonna hook you up because I know you're in the area.
Let me get that because my wife ain't got no ticket, and James is bringing his wife down here. But we'll talk off air, man. I'm pretty sure you got my number or my email or something, and if not, you can find me. But yeah, man. What else you got for us?
I tried to friend you on Facebook, but you never respond, and I don't really fuck with any of the other social medias. I try to just keep it to one.
What's your name on Facebook? Because listen, the thing is, I said that on other podcasts. My personal Facebook, I don't use it.
He doesn't use it. He uses Twitter all the time.
seconds.
I just don't use it. So if you try to reach out to me, your message could sit there for months, dude. I don't use it. Honestly, I know for a fact that I got like 35 friend requests. I just don't use it. So I don't want to make people feel bad like I'm not answering to them. I'd rather they reach out to me on Twitter because I'm on there every day. I'm on Twitter like I got a coke habit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to get you that figure because I got 4, but
60 seconds.
He's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna go or anything. So I was like, yo, it's in the nosebleed, but you know, I was like, you know,
It's all good, man. You know? Like I said, it's all good. We could talk about it off air, but just make sure if you're there, we definitely have to have a drink together.
Oh yes, definitely, bro.
Even if you don't drink, we drink water together. We toast it up with some water like B.
I drink bro. I can't wait, bro. I really can't wait. That face off. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm excited,
that was
man.
the best face off I've seen in a minute.
Hey, Jay Knight. Speaking of face off, did you watch the Groves Froch face off? Because no one is talking about it. I think it was so intense, though.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was out.
A lot of UK people sent me the well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but 2 UK people sent me the video today, man. I was like, wow, man. I'm surprised I didn't come across this myself because it is awesome. I tweeted it out today and stuff. I think we should tweet it out, let people know about it because it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really good.
People tweeted it to me, and I watched it right before the show, and I was like, wow. I just like how fucking Groves is just so intelligently more witty than Froch. Like he's staying so cool, calm, and collective, but saying the things that are ticking Froch off. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yo, but Ness, is it on HBO Face Off?
No, it's all YouTube stuff, man. Sky Sports stuff, but it's all over YouTube, bro. It's all over YouTube.
I'm gonna hit that up tonight.
All right, Jay Nice, I'm gonna let you get out of here, brother. Thanks for calling in. As always, man, we're definitely gonna check you out in Madison Square Garden. That has been the show for tonight. I hope we gave you enough Stevenson Fonfara recap. It went unmentioned that I said Fonfara and that he would make this fight fun. He did. He made it more than fun. He was competitive. He dropped Stevenson. Maybe put some doubt in your minds if Stevenson ever faces Kovalev. Jim Gray took a shot trying to bait that fight to come to Showtime. A lot of things happening in boxing. We're bringing it to you the best we can. This is the Boxing Voice. I am your host, Ness GTO, joined alongside the best gentleman. Mario's not here to take his shout out, but definitely follow him at Mario Munguia, common spell at Mario Munguia, and you can follow Beeb at
J Habib1
and Jameson
at Jameson Rocket. Real quick, because I might not be here Thursday, I'm gonna run through my picks. You can Twitter me, bash me, whatever, because I don't want to be like last Thursday.
James, there is no way that you're not gonna be here Thursday. I'm picking you up at the airport. How are you not gonna be here if I'm not gonna be
next Thursday, brother? That's not this Thursday. That's next Thursday.
Oh shit, my bad.
It's all good. So before I was so rudely interrupted, okay, real quick. Yo, if it was this Thursday, I'm telling you, I could really fucking use it this Thursday, but it's not. I'm going Juarez, fuck the Fox Sports card. Everybody knows who's going to win that. I'm going Povetkin to win. I'm going with, before you even started talking about the Diamond in a Rough Groves fight, I'm going Groves. I think Groves is going to take it. I think it's going to be like Alvarado Rios 2. I think he's going to do enough to kind of get past him. I'm going DeGale, unfortunately, to beat Brandon Gonzalez, although I like that man. Going McDonald Mitchell. I think Donaire is going to beat Vietka, whatever his name is. Nicholas Walters is going to beat Victor Darchinyan. I got Gradovic, Avalos, and then the A sides all the way down. I'm going to go Felix Sturm beats Sam Solomon's old ass, and Hank Lundy beats Pepino Cuevas.
Well, James is giving you his picks because he may not be here Thursday. You got to catch ours Thursday night. Once again, thanks everybody for all the support, and don't forget that iTunes review. Don't forget iTunes.
Yo, what's going on, boxing fans? To make Boxing Voice #1 boxing show, log on iTunes and drop them a 5-star review. Come on, man. It is free and easy, and guess what? It means a lot to these guys. Holy crap, what is this hesitation all about, man? Go write the review, motherfuckers.
All right, guys. Good night.
Later.